welcome along to another Shed Chat Live with me, Jennifer Kirk. It's really good to have you along. And today, well, we're moving on a little bit from the GMRC topics that we've been talking about of late. I've probably all talked out with those for now. But certainly I'm here to shoot the breeze with news, views, clues, and whatever's new in the world of model railways. Sorry, I've got dirty glasses. Dirty. Oh, I've got a bit of a cough developing as well. So, yeah, it's been a funny old day, hasn't it? So I hope you're all well, and I hope that you haven't been flooded out. There's been an awful lot of flooding across the UK. So we've got that guy who would not share his name is, careful now, you get kicked if you don't stop posting the same thing. Good evening to New Mills Model Railway. I did warn. Growler Blackwood N-gauge layout over and over again. So stop it. Behave yourself. But hey, Otis JB. Hi Jenny, glad to be back. Haven't caught the stream in the last few weeks, but don't forget that all of the streams remain on YouTube. They go up as like an ordinary full video, so you can still watch. But of course, you know, it's you can't really interact with the comments, which is a shame. I do love the live stream format because it is a very personal, engaging thing, and people can ask questions, and you know, it's kind of it's like keeping it real. So what am I drinking tonight? Absolutely nothing at the moment. This is my drinking hand, and hopefully the hand from beyond will eventually be passing in a bottle of something. Who knows what? Otis JB. Oh, sorry, I've just just read that. Basing TMD. Hiya, sorry I'm late. What do you mean, sorry you're late? We've just started. Ron Stanbridge. Hi, Jenny from Ron Fancup Miniature Marvels. It was a good win, Jenny. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I think, were you... Oh, we did it a bit earlier last week now. I think last week we had Melanie Lewis on, who's the creative genius behind doing the tripods on our layout. She's very good with electronics. One of the things that she's done, or is doing at the moment, is she's got, I think it's the old style Hornby Class 142, was it a Pacer or something, and she is DCC sound fitting it with functions for cab lights, interior lights, the little lights that come on the side when the doors are open, so obviously two different sets, one either side, and it's like, talk about polishing a turd. But you know, she divines immense enjoyment from that. And what we have to all remember is that this hobby is about what you enjoy. And I'm a big advocate, actually, of if you don't enjoy something, it's always absolutely fine for you to find shortcuts, even to just pay somebody else to do it, or find a product that just makes things really easy. And if you have a look at my how to speed ballast video like a pro, actually, one of the little gadgets which I came across from Proz's, which speeds up and helps immensely laying ballast, I kind of touch upon it in that. And I'm not even sure how I got that. I don't remember ordering it, but it came in a box load of stuff when we did the heat round of GMRC, and it was like, oh, I don't remember. Did somebody else order this? I don't know. What is it for? I don't know. And then I realised what it was for. And actually, I've used it to ballast all the track up on Weir Yard, and it's a great little tool. But certainly, I'm always surprised in a way how many people dislike ballasting track. I find it quite relaxing, actually. I don't mind doing it, and you probably noticed from GMRC that our track and ballast actually turned out quite nice, and a lot of that is down to the fact that I'm well practiced at it, but I actually quite enjoy doing it. But I'm very mindful that a lot of people don't enjoy doing it, and actually if you watched last Friday, it was nothing to do with that episode, but there seemed to be some interesting shortcuts being taken on ballasting, and I got the impression that none of those three teams were particularly chuffed to bits about doing ballasting. But let's have a look. Alan Reynolds, hi Jenny from PVA J-Cloth Alan. Yeah, that's a great tip actually. I do use that. Obviously you can use plaster bandage as well if money's no object. But for those of us who are on a budget and, where time is not generally a great issue, that J-cloth and PVA method, and then, go over it. I went over it with like a layer of cheap filler, just quite a thin layer, and then you get that hard outer shell. And it just actually works really, really well. So great tip there, Alan. Carol Taylor, evening to you, not booze. I haven't got any booze at the moment, I'll be honest with you. Leslie Gilpin, good evening, Jenny and chums. I like that. Ooh, Jenny and chums. James Carroll, hello Jenny from Florida, USA. Hello to you. Flymo Chairman 1, good evening, Jenny and all. Oh, well, great to have you along. We've got some of the regulars in here as well. We've got Don Croggan. Hi, Jenny. Good morning from California. Carol Taylor. I did really enjoy your rolling stock steam parts 1 and 2. Yeah, little spoiler. That is kind of all of it. Somebody did ask me, so how many steam and diesel locomotives have you got in total? I don't know. Watch the 3 videos I've done so far and count them up, and you're not far off. Because I don't have a lot of electrical locomotive. I've got a class 71, an 85, a 76, a 411, a 419, and then I didn't do any of the things like I got a 128, a 101, 2 108s. So add all them in. Bish bash bosh. We've got a 419 as well. And that gives you the grand total. It's about 170, I keep quoting people, about 170 locomotives, something like that. It's a lot. And I'll be the first to admit, actually, that I do have a very large loco collection. But it's interesting, actually. I was looking at... I was chatting with Derry Faux Nightingale. Big time fan. Well, he might not be a fan, but no, a friend of the channel. And he's helped me source locomotives in the past relatively cheaply. He will be at Worley Model Railway Exhibition. I think he'd be on the Burco Econ stand with Alex Croft. But he's got a load of very cheap models to sell. And I've got first dibs on some of them. So a super detailed Hornby Castle class locomotive. I think it's Ince Castle. DCC fitted. I've already got dibs on that, but he's got a load of stuff. And the thing about Derry is he sells stuff, he prices stuff very much to sell. So it's like 40-50 quid a loco, which is like woohoo, where you've got really high quality modern standard locos. I think the other one that I've put dibs on is a Bachmann DCC fitted, so factory DCC fitted collet 060 tender loco. It's the one that they did ready DCC fitted, so relatively recently. And I think it's let me having that for 40 quid, which is actually really, really good. Let's have a look. Hi to we've scrolled down very quickly. Right, hold on. The Don Juan. Does anyone know where I can get the Tornado Aberdonian? Hattons don't do it. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one that's in my collection. It's a lovely loco. If you're not too fussed, you can renumber and rename locomotives. There are ways and means. It's not something I've ever done, it has to be said. But failing that, I would suggest troll through eBay. Just be prepared to play the waiting game until you get one at a price that you're prepared to pay. Or I think Carol Taylor, try Rails of Sheffield. Always worth a try. Just keep your eye out. I bought it second hand. It has to be said. I bought it from Tim at Arcadia Models in Shore a good few years ago now, probably about 10 years ago. So look out for it. It does occasionally come up. Tony Britton. Same here, Carol. Yeah, I'm glad that people have been enjoying those. It's just something that I decided to do. Sometimes it's nice to just show these things off. And I'm not showing off. I'm not going, hey, look at me, I've got loads of stuff. Ooh, aren't I great? It's not about that. I think sometimes people are just genuinely interested to see what's in your fleet. Maybe because it kind of gives you a window. It's a bit like when you listen to Desert Island Discs and you think, oh, that's an odd choice of music. But it gives you a window into somebody's way of thinking and their interests. And also, I guess, inspires people. Go, oh, I didn't know they did one of those. Oh, I'll have to look out for it. So it's kind of nice sometimes to see things. And I must admit, I mean, the Saint that I've got, I didn't even know that Hornby did that super detailed Saint model until I saw that second hand. I went into Arcadia Models in Shaw, and I wasn't going in to frisk his second hand. I think I was going in to buy something specific. I probably needed something like a 6-pin decoder, and I was passing by, and I saw that, and it's like, ooh, what is this? And it was like really high quality, and I got a sound chip to go in. I think I got the Castle sound chip, because the Saints, was it a Saint? They were rebuilt into Castle, so I figured they probably sound roughly the same. But yeah, I love frisking second-hand tables in model shops, because you never know what you're going to get. New Mills Model Railway. I find ballasting very therapeutic, with the window open, listening to the rain if it's raining, and hearing the occasional train running through Bescott Yard up the road. Nothing better. I know what you mean. See, I find it therapeutic as well. And I guess that's the thing. And I know some people, they find, cutting out all these individual bricks to then, all these chads to do, like, really interesting brickwork and stuff. Or, like scribing cobbles in fire clay, things like that. People get their relaxation in different ways. But I'm completely with you on that. I find ballasting very therapeutic as well. And for me, it's just that, so you're just there, and like you say, you have like sounds on in the background, relaxing sounds. For me, not so much music these days, but I tend to have like a film or Netflix on, and I'm not watching what's on. And the trick with that, I think, is don't watch something that you really like. Oh, there's a new Captain Butt Kicker out or something. That you really, if you got that, you'll just end up getting sucked into the film. What you want is a film that you know that you enjoy, but you know it well enough that it doesn't matter if you miss big chunks. Just having it on in the background, and then it's very therapeutic and relaxing. In a way, you're using that. Oh, hello. Oh, I'll just have the one, but thank you very much. Wow. Ooh. Today's drink is provided to us by Zoe. Would you like to...
Who is not a cupboard monkey.
What?
I am not a cupboard monkey.
Mm.
Your pies, my dear.
I'll just have the one. Put the rest in the fridge or something.
Your pies, my dear.
No, seriously.
Bye,
I've just had something to eat.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Right. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, very therapeutic. And, I'm aware that, static grassing maybe some people find therapeutic. And that's it. At the end of the day, the hobby is about what you get out of it. If you enjoy something, do it. If you don't enjoy doing something, then, like me, I hate scratch building buildings. I really hate it. In fact, scratch building in general, not so bad with like scenery items, even simplistic things like, I've done flagpoles. Bridges I actually like doing. I've scratch built a lot of bridges in my time, and I actually really enjoy doing that for some reason. But when it comes to buildings, I hate it. I'll kit bash stuff. I think my motto is, with card kits, I've never knowingly built a card kit as per the instructions. But, like building buildings, just doesn't enthuse me. Brockwell Lane, I don't like wiring up lights. I have a load to do and keep putting it off. I know that feeling well, actually. I've actually, interestingly enough, news on Weir Yard, up in the loft. I found some more LED bulbs. When I scrapped the layout out in the shed, which is Trinity Road, I salvaged a lot of lighting that I put in buildings. Never really used it because, you had to turn all the lights off to see it. In some respects, you still have to do it upstairs. But people moaned, so I thought, well, I'll wire some lights into things. And I've just found 4 more that got caught up in a different box. I think it must be the last of the little LEDs. But what I'm going to do with them is, with those 4 lights, I'm going to... what are you doing?
Look at my phone.
Why were you taking the picture off the wall?
I didn't take the picture down. I knocked it off the wall. Hang on. Just need to check. It's my phone.
Do I need to ring your phone?
I think you do. Hi guys, I'm sorry. I've lost my phone, and Jen's going to try and find it for me. You're going to have to turn off iTunes.
Yeah, it's fine. Why has it come up? Apparently iTunes is a... Can you hear it anywhere?
No.
You haven't left it in Manchester, or have you?
Can't have.
It's ringing.
I might have left it in the car.
Okay. Yeah, go and check in the car.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah, it's just gone to answer machine.
Turn off iTunes.
Yeah, why would it be booting? Oh, go away, iTunes. Let it. I didn't. Oh, I'm. If people are wondering what on earth is going on, you're not the only one. How do I quit iTunes? Go away, iTunes. You were not asked for, so go away. I don't know whether anybody saw that pop up on screen. No! No! iTunes is... Quit iTunes. I hate you, iTunes. What the heck was that all about? I don't know if that pops up on screen, because it just went, but I will steal all your resources because I am selfish Apple software. Right, anywho. Yeah, wiring up lights. Where we are. Yeah, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Yeah, so I found these 4, and the idea is there's that terrace, those terraced houses in the far, far corner. They need wiring up. So the plan is, I'm going to put 3. Did you find it?
Yeah, I got it.
Where was it?
In the car.
Oh, apparently it was in the car. So I'm going to put 3 of these bulbs randomly in the row of terraces, and then I've got 1 which I'm going to put probably in the water tower, actually. You know, just for the heck of it. And what I tend to do is I put 2 bulbs in series. So instead of being running on 12 volts per bulb, effectively each bulb runs on 6 volts. But I must admit, I'm not that keen on electricals. I've done quite a lot, but I have to say, I know what you mean. It's like electrics, boring. Leslie Gilpin, how about some crochet trees on Weir Yard? No, the thing about that is actually, I think they've got an interesting style. If they'd have gone for the psychedelia, you know, something like they needed the magic roundabout, you know, do 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 do, time for bed, Zebedee. That would have worked really well in it, or maybe even the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. But I thought that Kathy Miller was a bit mean on those. They were inspired, they were different, they were thinking outside of the box, and I think that should be rewarded. It's my view that, I don't know, she seems to be trying to play bad cop. It's like, you know, there's a good cop, bad cop thing going on between them. And Kathy, it doesn't work. I'm sorry, but it just makes you come across a bit horrible to people. See, with Steve Flint, and the interesting thing is, and this is my personal opinion, Steve Flint invariably gives roughly the same score, but if you listen to them, Steve talks them up to that score, whereas Kathy takes them down to that score. And Steve's technique is much, you know, he talks about like, oh, I like this is really good, you know, if they can, you know, pull this off, bloody, they've got a few problems, but this is good. So I'm going to, you know, it's nudged them up to a 3. And then she'll say, well, you know, I didn't like the croquet trees and their track is atrocious, bloody, bloody, blah, and I'm going to only give them a 3. And it's that only going to give them a 3. Whereas Steve talks them up to that 3, Kathy's talking them down to that 3. And, it's not a good way to go. You know, being Simon Cowell, you have to be, I don't know, I don't like Simon Cowell's way of doing it either, it has to be said. But hey. But yeah, no, I wouldn't use crochet trees myself, probably because I wouldn't know how to make them. But I can see their use. They've got a style. And actually, I thought when I saw them, what they probably would have needed to make them fit in with a more conventional model railway is the same technique that I've been using on the Scale Scenics trees that I was sent by Hornby to review. And that is a washover with extra strong hold hairspray, and then like chucking some different shades of scatters on them. And that gives you that slightly more organic feel. And they could work quite well doing that. But if you're going for psychedelia, I think you could make a really good layout doing that. Anyway, sorry, I'm way behind on your comments. So, Will Braddock, do you have the Bachmann Class 43? No, I don't. I've just got a 42, it has to be said. The Growler, Blackwood Engage layout. Anyone joining you tonight? No, I invited a few people, but they weren't able to make it. Unfortunately, Monday night, a lot of people can't make it for whatever reason. Les is busy. He's actually stripping wallpaper. In fact, if anybody is looking to rent an amazing masonette, well, it's a flat, but it's on 2 stories. So it's on the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor, and it's got a rooftop terrace, and it is the most. It's bigger than this house. It's 4-bedroom. So if you're looking for like an executive pad that is actually done out really nice, it doesn't look like a rented house. It looks like some kind of millionaire's mansion. It is an incredible space. He's looking for a tenant at the moment. You know, it's not cheap, but it's right in the centre of Bolton. Really convenient for the railway station. I think it's Miller Metcalf are going to be dealing with it. But he's looking for a new tenant. The old tenant didn't have any problems with it. They've been in there years, but they've moved abroad, which is why it is. But there's this huge rooftop terrace with lovely views, really private, and it is just an amazing space. So if you're looking for somewhere to rent in Bolton, centre of Bolton, give Les a call. Otis JB, I also rather enjoyed your collection videos. You do have a lot of locos. Yeah, about 170. Carol Taylor, woo, I am close behind Jen. 166 Steam only. Obviously mine's 170 spread across all sorts. Bluegrass Rail Fan, afternoon to you. Tony Breton, have you received your Hornby Ruston you had on pre-order? Not yet. I was told that the first one had arrived at Arcadia in Shaw, but it wasn't the one I ordered. In fact, I can't remember which one I ordered. But my name wasn't against that particular one, and the trouble was they've sold so well on pre-order. Whilst he said, was it this one that you ordered? When I went in to pick up the B2 packet, it was, and I said, not sure, to be honest, and I didn't want to take one that somebody else had ordered for him to then have to turn around and go, oh, I'm really sorry, I don't have one for you, even though you ordered it months ago. So I know that Tim will come good for me. So I am looking forward to that model. And actually, I think it's going to be the sleeper hit of the year. Not as much the Ruston 48 DS. It's the power, well, the conflat with pickups. That's what I've got my eye on. And if it does turn out to do exactly what it says on the tin and is really good, good quality model, then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be lobbying Simon Kohler to bring out things like the W4 Packet, the Sentinel Shunter, all of these different locomotives with the means to plug into that conflat wagon, and then have him sell the conflat wagons separately, so you can kind of plug them in to other locomotives to improve the pickups. And I think that's going to be the sleeper hit. Carol Taylor, era 3, 4, and 5 only. Yeah, see, I do everything from era 2. I'd do era 1 if it turned up on the market, but there's not really much ready to run I've seen in era 1, other than Stevenson's Rocket from way back when, and they're quite hard to get hold of and a bit crude by modern standards. But yeah, era 2 through to is it era 8, just touching era 8. Leslie Gilpin, 172 steam electric and mostly diesel plus unit trains. It's not a competition, but I admire your style. Ben Davis, I have to be the York Moors Railway Steam guy. That was great fun. I got to meet New Junction. The YouTube was amazing. Yeah, I must get out more. I keep getting invites, but see, right, the thing you've got to remember about me is I do a lot of media work. I do a lot of video filming on my days off. I get 3 days off a week, but because I still have a mortgage, I work very long hours on 4 days a week, Wednesday to Saturday. So I'm just not able to do anything on those days. There's no evenings. My hours are basically, I start at 9:30 in the morning and I can easily work through until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I'm of the mantra that once you get to work, I might as well make the most of it. I don't know. Lemon Bakewells. Games made of cardboard. Hello to you. James Carroll, Jenny, they really are truly electric. LOL, unless you're pushing them around by hand. Yeah. James Hardy, another Barry engine, return to steam, 9F92134. Oh, great stuff. Brockwell Lane, I really like your Great Central livery steam locos. Yeah, I've got, is it 3? I've got the Robinson 8K, the Robinson 9J, and the D11 Director class in Great Central Railway livery. I love them too as well, actually. And I'm going to be doing a video, probably in the next couple of weeks, where I'm going to do the 10 rarest locomotives in my collection. Not because I want to show off, but because they tend to do really well, and people are always interested to know what's rare. And I do have some real rarities in my collection, so one of those Great Central liveried locomotives you may find makes an appearance. Ron Stanbridge, my brute. I thought it was an aftershave. My dad used to wear that in the 80s. My brute is on all the start of GMRC and my 37. James Hardy, Hornby have never made a modern Saint model. Was it a Grange? It's a 460. What was the one that was rebuilt into a Castle class? Because it was a modern standard one. It was super duper detail. Slimline tension lock couplings in NEM pockets, and it had space for the TTS sound in the tender. And it wasn't a Castle, trust me. It's like there's Saint or a Grange, something like that. Foxhill Railway. Hello, Jenny. You are not showing off when you do your videos. As you say, it's nice to know what's out there. Keeping doing what you do. Oh, well, thank you very much. Bluegrass Rail fan. I'm an engager that does need a track cleaner. Yeah, actually, Daypol do a lovely one in 00. But there are others on the market. Oh yeah, Leslie Gilpin. Anything must be better than the Tomix vacuum cleaner and track destroyer. Oh, is that one that basically sands the top of the rails and puts burr marks in them? At the moment, I just use a Pico or a Gauge Master track cleaning rubber. That's the way that I roll. But yeah, something that you just sort of sand around. There's I think it's CMX. It's like a really nice metal tanker, and you fill it with cleaning fluid, and it has these sort of things that just wipe the top of the track. A bit same idea as the old Hornby 00 track cleaning wagon, which is super rare. I mean, they cost like £200-300 if you actually find one these days. Otis JB, Hornby do a lovely NRM special edition Saint. Keep an eye out for one. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Sorry, stuff in my face. They are good. I recommend them. Ben Davis, thanks for the live streaming. Don't mention it. Always a pleasure to be able to chat with you all. Games made of cardboard. I love trains. Yeah, they're good, aren't they? What's not to like? The thing about model trains, and real trains as well, it encompasses a whole lot of different aspects of the hobby. So, you know, everything from photography, video making, collecting, the creative side of things, history. There's so many different facets to the hobby that, you know, what's not to like? Ron Stanbridge, Brit. Right. My Brit is on all the start of GMRC and my 37. I must admit, actually, my J50 is in the credits as well. That's all I will say. But if you see a Hornby J50 in LNER livery, that is mine. And actually, in the trailer, I think it was something like a class 44, and you'll see it on a layout. See, you won't actually know that until all the heats and stuff are gone through. You start to think, hold on, I never saw that layout. But in the original trailer for GMRC, there's actually Weir Yard has somehow made the cut, and I was astonished to see it. I mean, Suki came and filmed here for a full day, but I didn't think that they would be using much of that footage. But actually, they didn't do much of a backstory for us, but that little bit of footage did end up in that trailer, so I was very pleased at that. The model has moved on a lot since then, so I look at it and go, oh, there's a lot of trees there now. James Hardy, it's a star that Hornby make. Yes, I knew it was Great Western. Right, that's brilliant. Thank you for clearing that up. Games made of cardboard. I live in Warplerston and have a tiny station in the woods. It's great. Oh, right. Is that like on a garden railway or something, or is that on the main railway line? Carol Taylor, the drink has arrived. Oh gosh, I am well behind on these comments. I am working through, so I will eventually get to your comments. So don't be disheartened if you think, I put a comment in and she hasn't said anything. It's because I'm slowly working through the comments and I talk a lot. Leslie Gilpin, custard tarts. No, lemon bakewells. Although custard tarts, I do like a Manchester tart. Which, for anybody who doesn't know, Manchester tart is like the casing off something like those bakewells. So it's like that. I don't know what kind of pastry you'd call it. It's not pastry. It's more of, it's quite sweet. But then there's a layer of jam, a layer of like the same type of custard that you would get in, say, a trifle, and then a lattice on top, and then sprinkled with some coconut. Although coconut is optional. Haven't had that since I was at school. God, that's like 25 years ago. Fox Hill Railway, making a small world of our own is great. Yeah, I know it is. Actually, on Channel 4's Biggest Little Railway, there's a quote from me in that. It's like, I think we just like to build this miniature world where we can control everything. Derek Grant, Zoe is beer food assistant. Oh yes, she is. Bluegrass rail fan. Wiring has always seemed like a daunting challenge to me. Probably why I do Unitrack. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, any time that there's a task in, not just railway modelling, but anything else, if you really dislike... Oh, thank you very much. No, take it away. You have it.
I am not a cupboard monkey.
Apparently you are. Although I keep telling people that is not a cupboard. That is the doorway to the room. Come on, push off.
I am not a cupboard monkey.
Right, the cupboard monkey's gone. But yeah, find ways around it. There's ways and means, and actually there's a lot of good Pico products to make wiring up things like points and that a little bit easier. So it's well worth seeing what's out there. Games made of cardboard. Oh wow, it's you. It's me. Oh my god, it's me. I know her. Games made of cardboard. Alright, so are we talking about Zoe or me or somebody else in the room? Bluegrass Rail fan. I visited a hobby shop in Illinois last week that had a huge HO scale layout in the basement. Guy said it had 2 miles of wire in it. I could well believe it, actually. I dread to think how much wire is on Weir Yard, but I'm probably getting close to a mile of actual track, if not more. Fox Hill Railway, just got into soldering. It's alive. Actually, soldering's not too bad. I can do basic soldering, but I ain't neat. Excuse me, but soldering is actually quite a useful skill. Games made of cardboard. Is she doing any more coding soon? Yeah, she was ill on Sunday. Sorry, so you meant Zoe. That's good to meet you. Always nice to meet one of Zoe's fans. She'll be downstairs squeeing. It's like, oh, I've been recognised by a fan. But yeah, next Sunday there should be some coding. Yesterday she was a little bit ill, snowed under with work, so it should be something that will return shortly, say about next Sunday. Faye Olan, quick hello, can only watch live for 5 minutes. Well, I'm so far behind with the comments, you may well have gone, but look, don't worry, it'll be good to have you along. So, greetings from the past. Hello! Good to have you back, good to have you watching, good to have everybody on board. It's always great to chat with you all, actually. It's what I love about the live streams. Flymo Chairman 1. My dad built me a good shed from cardboard pieces from lampshade braiding when I was a youngster. It was really good and very strong. I wish I still had it. Yeah, some people just have that knack. They are amazing. And actually, if you watched the Railmen of Kent, those station buildings were very impressive. There's no way I could have scratch built stuff like that. But on the other hand, there was a little thing niggling in the back of my mind. They were awfully big pre-builds, and all I could think was, aren't they a bit on the big side? That's a little tiny bit naughty. Missenden fell foul of that in Series 1, but hey, I don't know. It worked out in the end. It's quite a nice model. I have actually seen that layout in the flesh, so to speak. And it is a really nice model. Very clinical and clean. That's my striking memory of their model, was that it's almost like an architect's model. It was very crisp, and when you see it, you realise what I mean. It reminded me of an architect's model. Oh, nice. There's your Gilpin. Hey, I was in Illinois 2 weeks ago, Railway Museum event. Yeah, I heard about that. Not you being in Illinois, but the Railway Museum there. James Carroll, I bet she left her phone at the pub. God, I am behind on these comments. No, it was in the car. HJ the 9th. Hi Jenny, have you always modelled UK prototypes, or have you ever built a layout that was set in another country? If not, what other countries would you consider as a prototype? That's actually a really good question there. I have built a model railway that wasn't set in the UK, but it wasn't mine. It was for something else. It was quite an eclectic model railway, it has to be said. But myself, no. But I'm very, very taken by some of the American models. In fact, one of the most inspiring layouts that I've ever seen, I've still got the back issue of Continental Modeler. It's called Federal Street Yard, and it's an American HO model. And I kept that article, I kept the full magazine that it's in, because it was so inspiring. There's a couple of other American HO models that I found very, very inspiring. And actually, yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that I don't want to kind of branch out into different country stuff, because I'll end up spending a fortune on loads and loads of stock and there's not enough space. It's like my old rule of stick to one scale at a time, which I then broke by going a little bit O-gauge in the garden. But I've kept a lid on that, honest. Like, oh yeah, no, hello, we're O-gauge, just keep it in the box. Yeah, Australian outline stuff as well interests me a little bit. And some of the Scandinavian railways, French steam, and Prussian railways, sort of like, pre-First World War German railways. I like a lot of stuff, it has to be said, but I rigidly try and keep my modelling to BR stuff. That said, I was very taken by the desert layout in episode 2 of GMRC, the 7 Pillars of Wisdom. And that kind of ties in with some of the American outline stuff that I do quite like, and the Australian stuff. And I am very tempted to build something along those lines. But, so yeah, I reckon probably American, if I moved away from UK, American number 1, Australian number 2, probably Swedish or Norwegian maybe for number 3. I just like the idea of the really epic countryside. Bluegrass Railfan, if you do HORN, there's a nice shop in Marion, Illinois. Owner was extra broad on the Illinois Central back in the day and has a bunch of stories. There used to be a model shop in Bolton, and I believe the guy who owned and ran it, it had something to do with the railways, but he had a lot of interesting stories as well. But Tim at Arcadia in Shaw has a very big range of mostly continental stuff. I must ask him actually if he does US outline stuff. So you can get it in the UK, which has to be very expensive. Fox Hill Railway. Jenny, have you SNCF stock? Funnily enough, used to. My dad and I, when I was a lot younger, we started buying some of the Hornby HO stuff, which was the continental counterpart to Hornby 00, and it was sold briefly in the UK. Very, very well made, and pretty well detailed actually at the time. It kind of, until the super duper detail back when branch line era, so like post, like late 90s stuff started coming through. The old Hornby HO stuff was actually better than a lot of the stuff that we had in the UK right up until the 1990s. And I had a couple of locomotives and some coaches, some wagons, but they all got sold on when my dad trimmed down his collection. The Ton Juan, thank you. Got the Tornado 7950 Rails of Sheffield. Oh, wow. Well done. Good for you. Oh, I'm glad that we sorted you out there. And that's actually not a bad price. Let's have a look. Carol Taylor, haha, Woodstock, here we go. Fair enough. Oh, it just jumped. You lost my space. Oh my word, you have. Blooming heck, you've all been. God, I am well behind on these comments. Otis JB, Soldier and Track is a pain, a bit of a gamble too. Yeah, I find the trick is get it really hot really quickly and be ready with a damp sponge to cool it down so it doesn't just set fire to your sleepers. Leslie Gilpin, the crochet trees really worked. Yeah, I liked them. They had a good style to themselves, nice and psychedelic. Carol Taylor, well done, the Don. Oh yes, yeah, that was a good buy actually. That for $79.50, not bad. Foxhill Railway, will you be doing an electric loco video? It'll be quite a short one because I only really own. I've got a 76, an 85, a 71, a 411, a 419. Oh, I've got a 401 and a 402. Forgot about them. I've already done the 73. So yeah, and I'll probably mix in with it my DMUs because I've got a 101 and two 108s and a 128 as well. So it'll be quite a short video to be honest with you. But yeah, it's on the cards. Foxhill Railway, bon appetit, Jenny. Thank you very much. Leslie Gilpin, haha, Carol, we stayed in Woodstock, Groundhog Day. Mark Wilson, evening my ducks. Sorry I was a bit late. Is the cupboard monkey giving out cakes? Yes, funnily enough, she is. Faye Owen, we'll watch the full out video later. Pesky work calls, bye to everyone. Well, look, you take care, have yourself a good evening at work, and enjoy yourself catching up on the live stream. So, hello from the past. Because it will be the past when they watch it. Yeah, I know. James Carroll, Jenny, are you pushing your trains around by hand? They're really all electrics. Yeah, I know. Come on. Behave yourself. Mark Croucher, lightweights can't keep up with your drinking. Carol Taylor, cost, Jenny. Carol Taylor, general idea on rent. I don't know if Les is in the room. If he is in the room, do post how much are you wanting for that 4-bedroom luxury penthouse apartment on 2 floors with a massive rooftop terrace to boot. It's massive. It's bigger than this house. It's unbelievably nice. I'm trying to remember what he said. I'm going to go out on a limb and say around 800 or 900 a month, but I'm probably totally way off there. But it's but yeah. I'll have to ask Les. I'll get back to you next week actually. So in fact, I'll send him a message. Let's have a look. Alright, Sorry, loads of people have sent me messages. Oh, this is very rude. Right, I need to find... Where are you, Les?
Plug your phone in and phone him.
No. Well, Zoe's got this thing wired. We've got a sound desk up here, and she's found a way to put phone calls on her. Hold on, let me just open to charge for rent. Smart live stream. Right, let's see. We might get a message before the end of the. Right. Anywho, 1960. Andy, 1962. Totally agree. Steve comes across as encouraging, whereas Kathy, finding her so negative. Loved the crochet trees. Very psychedelic and original. Yeah, that's what everybody is saying about them. I think, unfortunately, Kathy didn't have a finger on the pulse when she said that. Yeah. Good evening, Jenny and all. Foxhill Railway. Callum Wilcox has his. Sorry, has his what? Have I missed a comment? Foxhill Railway. And is that about the electric loco? Yeah, Callum Wilcox, aka SDJR887F or something like that. I do subscribe to his YouTube channel. Games made of cardboard. I know Game Hammer. So weird. I just typed live and chat. It's nice to find one of Zoe's regulars. Actually, good to meet you. I'm sure I can almost.
His stuff is brilliant.
Apparently, your stuff is brilliant. Zoe says so. Great to have you dipping in on the live stream. Can you believe it? He found me purely by coincidence, and then got really amazed when you walked in.
Small world.
Maybe you recognise the background. This is where she does her coding from.
Definitely a small world.
Really into my cider at the moment, it has to be said. Leslie Gilpin, at World War One motor-rail four-wheeler would look good for the smallest of private sidings. Yeah, they've got like one of those at East Lancs Railway. I got a photograph of it. Very interesting thing. I think there's another one at the Bluebell as well. Mark Wilson, 173 and a half locos, many hydraulics. I am curious at the half. Although technically I have a half. I've got the chassis to a class 17, but not the top. Although now I think about it, I've got the top to a class 24, but no chassis. So maybe that's an entire locomotive that I have not yet admitted to. Model Railway YouTube community group. Good evening to you. Nice to have you aboard. Game Hammer Classic Gaming. Do you need more Bakewells yet? Oh, God, I am well behind. Yeah, Berry 120, the CMX cleaner. That's what I was talking about. It looks a lovely piece of kit. I don't think it's cheap, but it's grand. Model Railway YouTube community group. Congratulations on the team reaching the semi-finals. Many thanks for that. Yeah, I think it's something that actually a lot of people have said. When you do it, you focus on the here and now, because basically, if you start thinking, "Oh, what we're going to do for the next round if we get through," then you kind of take your eye off the ball, and you don't want to be wasting energy thinking, planning something that you may actually never get round to having the opportunity to build. So you really focus on the here and now, and it's only at the point that there's like, and the winner is, and then there's that annoying pause, Rail Riders, and you're suddenly thinking, yeah, oh wait a minute, we got to plan another layout now. But yeah, thanks very much. It was certainly it was strong competition, I have to say, really strong competition. Berry 120, never heard anything bad about it aside from price, and actually even with the price, it's well made and it's like solid metal. I think it's value for money. Flymo Chairman 1, ooh, Bakewells, oh yes. Nick West, hi from Spain, just started building D-Day harbour layout. Actually, that'd be quite interesting. There's a lot of ready-to-run stock coming through. And actually, Bankman have released the new Parrot wagons, which are they're actually First World War vintage tank, like flat wagons. I need to get myself some of those, actually. Leslie Gilpin, CMX super expensive track cleaner, but the Charge one's very similar, half the price. Interesting. James Carroll, I own 27 diesels and 6 steam in HO, 8 diesels in N scale. It's always the kiss of death to your bank balance if you start doing multiple scales. Mark Wilson, are Bakewells named after Bakewell in Derbyshire? Pass. I'm sure Zoe will know, so somewhere down below, she's probably already answered it. Otis JB, I'm sceptical of roll-along track cleaners. I don't feel like they have enough friction. My track always needs a vigorous scrub, probably because I live by the sea. I think something like the CMX track cleaner has enough weight that it can really shift some gunk, and it uses a solvent as well, which helps. Fox Hill Railway, and with this hobby, the connection with others who like trains too. Yeah. Oh, Wolfie Wolf, hi to you. Oh yeah, apparently they are named after Bakewell. James Carroll, also 2 Mammoths, SM32 live steam and 1 Climax live steam G gauge. We've got some Mammoth stuff here, but not the railway stuff. Stuart Meir, hi to you. Hi Jenny, do you intend to model a colliery or Colville mine on your layout? I recently purchased the Diamond Coal Mine kit by Walthers. Although aimed at the American market, it would look good on a UK layout. Yeah, I know what you mean. The Walthers kits are really good. I've used a few in the past, and I've seen quite a lot done. Iron Mould Lane uses a few. It's actually where I first found out about Walthers kits. Again, that's a copy of Railway Modeller from 2000 that I still keep an issue of because I love that layout. It was a great inspiration for Grove Street Yard. But yeah, Walthers kits, really great, but can be a bit tricky to get in the UK. They're also the kings of back order. They have this huge range, but not everything's available at any one time. Leslie Gilpin, not Manchester tart, the one pud I despised at school. No, we had one, we called it pink poo pudding. And it was actually tinned fruit in this sort of like, best way I could describe it is like, if you got Angel Delight and it hadn't quite set properly and it was pink. And we used to call it pink poo pudding. Brockwell Lane, I wish GMRC wouldn't show clips of the finished layouts before we see them being built. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Now, I do believe that somebody from Channel 5 does swing through my live stream to make sure I'm not giving anything away. So, hello people from Channel 5. Take on board some of the comments. There's some good feedback going on here. And I must admit, actually, the Pico publication, I was very shocked and surprised to see in that, because it came out before the series aired. And that was like the companion handbook. They had full pictures of a couple of the layouts. And I thought, hold on, that's a bit, why are they showing the complete layout? It hasn't even been shown being built yet. So I thought that from an editorial point of view, that was a little bit naughty. And actually, in one of the pictures, you could see our War of the Worlds layout in the background. And I zipped it. I thought, I can see it because I know what I'm looking for, but I'll keep quiet about that. Ron Stanbridge, Matt has found some LED light strips for £1. I've got to do some tests, but if it works, carriage lighting for £1. You keep you posted, Jenny. Actually, that might be Melanie Lewis found some stuff. It comes in it's like a roll of LEDs, and you can cut it up, and then wire feeds to it. It has a very low current draw, and I think she paid a couple of quid for a 5-meter roll from China. And she says it's actually what she's using in a lot of her rolling stock conversions. And actually, it's something that I was going to experiment myself, so do keep me posted. I was going to experiment. For my hidden sidings, I'm thinking it would be a good idea to put some light strips under there just so you can see what's going on. Mark Crouch, I love doing scenic work and making buildings. Hate wiring. Called in the help of a fellow club member when I needed to. It's the way to do it. Bluegrass Rail fan did a bit of soldering years ago. It wasn't hard. I think I need a better soldering iron for N-scale track. The secret with soldering irons is heat. The hotter they get, the quicker they get. The quicker you can do the soldering and cause much less overall damage. Now, it might sound counterintuitive until I explain why, but if you have a lower powered soldering iron, you're more likely to damage the track and melt things. And the reason for this is because it takes you longer to get the heat into the rail to melt the solder and for it to bond. All during the time you're doing that, the rail itself is conducting the heat away. So it's spreading that heat out over a larger area. If you have a super hot soldering iron, then what happens is that little tiny bit of rail that you're soldering to, it gets hot enough for a good solder bond very, very quickly without enough time for that heat to transmit down across and start melting all your sleepers, things like that. So a really high-powered soldering iron is actually the way to go. Andy, what 1962? Zoe is not a cupboard monkey, allegedly. Stuart Muir, these Walthers kits, although aimed at the American market, they would equally look good on a UK-based layout. Yeah, the overhead travelling crane kit is brilliant, and it's a dead ringer for a lot of the stuff that you'd see in the UK. There's a lot of their industrial kits. Really, I can't recommend them more highly. They are really good. So well worth trying out. I think Waltons of Altrincham was quite a big Walton stockist. I've never used them per se. I just always remember seeing their adverts in Railway Modeler. I don't know if they're still on the go. Waltons of Altrincham. If you do go there, tell them I sent you. I've never been there myself. Actually, I never bought anything from them. But I just know that they always claim that they sold all these things. James Hardy. With the model railway, you can recreate the good old days of steam. Shame I was too young to see it. I'm 32. Yeah, I'm 40. And for me, the only steam I even vaguely remember seeing that was not at a preserved line would have been Walkden Colliery and Donington Donington Power Station. They were the two places where steam was still being used commercially. I have a feeling I remember seeing a Hunslet austerity somewhere in South Wales at a colliery where it was technically their backup locomotive, but I never saw it get used. I seem to recall it being a yellow with wasp stripes with a Giesel exhaust and being really down at heel. Berry120. I seem to be one of the weird sods that prefers doing the electrics to the scenery. It's a very satisfying job, especially when designing your own stuff from scratch and seeing it working. Yeah, Melanie's like that. And it's like I say, whatever's your poison. If you love doing something, focus on that. Get somebody else to do the stuff you don't like, or find a way around it. See, I quite like doing scenery, landscapes and stuff. I don't mind doing that. So it's always the case. Sometimes you team up with somebody else, and quid pro quo, to throw a little bit of Latin into the proceedings. You help them out with the bits they don't like doing on their railway, and they help you out with the bits you don't like doing on yours. Fat Wallet Boy 2. Yo, J to the E to the N to the K. Ever thought about going EM or P4? No, too much like hard work, I'll be honest with you. Not really my thing. I hate modifying locomotives and rolling stock, and building your own track, not my cup of tea. Fat Wallet Boy 2. My wallet, by the way, isn't fat, nor am I fat. Okay, I'll believe you. Games made of cardboard. I know Zoe. It's grand to have you along. Don't forget, tell all your friends that we're here. Let everybody know the Jenny Monday Club is a great community service. It's great to just chat with you all. Good community feel. Chat amongst yourselves, and it's great. It really is great. And also, incidentally, thanks to the people who came. I only got a couple of people. To the Jenny Monday Club Big Sunday meetup at the East Lancs. We will do another one again sometime, but more of you need to turn up. I was sat there for a little bit on my own thinking, am I going to be stood up by my entire audience? They were a bit camera shy though, but hey, no, it's alright. There's a lot of people who lurk on here. Excuse me, I've seen up to 200 people in the chat room, and there's a lot of people just like to watch, and that is absolutely fine. RJC Models Official. Hello Jenny, been watching your stuff for ages, new to your streams, congrats on the show. Well, thank you very much. Great to have you along. Always welcome on the videos and on the live stream. So good to hear from you. James Carroll, Jenny, just buy another house to house your collections from other countries. What am I, made of money? Oh, my image is just... Oh, no, we've unfrozen. Games made of cardboard. I animate old video games out of cardboard. Seriously thinking of getting back into train set building from listening to you. Oh, well, thank you very much. I feel honoured for that. There's a lot of transferable skills, it has to be said. I know a lot of people who are like Warhammer type miniature modelers, and they build scenery and stuff for that. I was actually quite surprised that we haven't yet seen wargamer focused teams on Great Model Railway Challenge. Excuse me. The closest we got really was Team Steampunk last year, but I do really think that a team drawn entirely from kind of the Games Workshop crowd would work really, really well. So there may yet be one. It has to be said. We've still got Heats 4, and Heats 5, so there may yet be a team of Warhammer experts. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but it's something to bear in mind. And it's always good. They use different techniques, actually. In my modelling career, I have always kept an eye on what Games Workshop's up to, because there's some really great techniques and materials that they have. They're not the cheapest, but there's some great stuff there, and you can get a lot of good inspiration from the stuff that they sell and do as well. And one of the good things about Games Workshop is that you can go into a Games Workshop shop. I think they've actually rebranded now. They're not called Games Workshop anymore, but it might be something like Warhammer 40k or something. I don't know. But they have people in the shop just making stuff. So it's basically like a model shop where you can hang out, play games with the stuff, and also paint and detail miniatures and scenery and buildings, that kind of thing. So, I think that they'd make a really great team, and they'd bring with them some really good techniques and ideas, and I think that would actually probably be very inspirational for traditional railway modellers. Leslie Gilpin, by the time you add the compulsory 20% plus £10 to the Royal Mail, at the moment US stuff works out the same price from UK dealers. Yeah, it's one of those things. Whenever I know people who are going to the States, I always get tempted to say to them, fill your suitcase with stuff. And in the end, I just get them to fill the suitcase with all the American Skittles flavours. I love Skittles, but in the UK, for a good long time, all we ever had was Skittles Fruits and Skittles Sours. And very occasionally, stuff like Skittles Berries would pass on through as limited edition. But in America, they have Skittles Orchards, Dark Sides, Dark Fruits. You name it, they've got it, and it's like, ooh, I love that stuff. Chris Lawson, evening, typing a comment while waiting on glue drying on some low relief buildings. It's grand, welcome along, always great to hear from everybody. Basing TMD, I was going to buy another shunter, but I had to buy a new hard drive. The saving up now starts again. Isn't that just the thing? When you've saved up some money, life goes, oh, I hear you've got some money saved up. We're going to make that bit of the roof leak, or it's going to make the fridge stop working, or your car's going to throw a fan belt. Hey, isn't that great? Because you've got that money saved up for that thing you really wanted. We'll have that. It always is the same. Believe me, I've been through that time and time again, so my heart goes out to you. RGJC Models Official, how's the garden railway? The moment buried in leaves and just looking on the cameras. I need to clean it up actually. My biggest problem is controllers. Both my DC and DCC controllers are up in the loft for wear yard. I don't really want to unwire them to be able to run something in the garden. So I need to get another controller to run the garden layout. And what I might actually do is upgrade the DCC controller in the loft and then use the current one I've got just to run the garden railway. But until then, I don't have an easily accessible controller to run it. So locomotives and rolling stock are in a display cabinet. The track is slowly disappearing at the back under dead leaves and stuff. I do need to clear that up. It will return though. Digger Evans, hi Jenny, hi everyone, hi to you, great to have you along. Vampira, hi guys and girls, hi to you. Mark Wilson, how did the Bolton Rail Club meet go last week? It went very well actually. We had 2/3 of the Rail Riders team actually turned up. And it's like a Q&A session. It was really good. They did actually record it. I noticed that they had a video camera up on a tripod. So I don't know whether they're putting that up on their YouTube page or something like that. But certainly there is a recording floating around somewhere of that session. But yeah, a great bunch of people. And it's coming along leaps and bounds. I'm looking forward to being able to get the War of the Worlds layout there as well. I do love cider. For those of you who may have been late joining, today's drink comes from Magnus Cider. Never used to be a big cider drinker. Let's have a look. Vampira, is there anyone else here who is interested in vintage O-Gauge? I'm not. I don't collect that sort of things. I've always had a passing understanding and interest of stuff like the old Hornby O-Gauge tinplate stuff. My father and I collected Hornby 00, which is the 00 vintage tinplate stuff. And actually, I've started filling out some of the display cabinets here to liberate my Bachmann and Hornby super detaily stuff. That's been moving up into the loft to be able to be used on Weir Yard, and the display cabinets have started to fill with stuff that's been in storage at my parents' house from my childhood model railway, which is Hornby 00 tinplate. But certainly some of the like the big clunky O-Gauge stuff, there's actually some quite nice models, like the schools classes, was it Repton or Stowe or something? Oh no, Eton. Was it Eton? And they had the Sarah Siddons type locomotive. I seem to recall that Hornby did that as well. There's some really interesting stuff, but it goes for a pretty penny. Hi to you. Oh, D827 Kelly. Evening to you. Great to have you in. I've actually got that very same locomotive. It's my one and only Bachmann Class 42 is D827 Kelly. So I always, whenever I see your internet handle, I always think of that locomotive. Dungeon Wood Model Railway. Evening, Jenny and other folks. Evening to you. Swindon Junction. Evening to you. Ooh, it's jumped. Vampira. I think I actually have a vintage tank locomotive in O-Gauge when you mentioned it. Yeah, I mean, they're lovely. They've got a real presence to them. Andy 1962. Jenny has gone all Wurzels tonight. I'm a cider drinker. Actually, no, I've got a brand new combine harvester and I'll give you the key. I can't sing, actually. I can't sing, can't play instruments, can't dance either. So I find it very peculiar that I am collaborating with Bruno Greif. You may know him as 1/5 of Terry Poison, the chart-topping group from about a decade ago. And he's done a lot of remixes, actually, including for Red Hot Chili Peppers, amongst others. I'm collaborating on an album. I've done the words, he's done the music. So currently being recorded in his studio in Hayther at the moment. weird. I'm gonna be a pop artist, and I have no skills in that department whatsoever. D827. I wouldn't want to try and count my stock. As you know, rolling stock. Somebody said, "Oh, you're going to do a video on your rolling stock." It's like, how long have you got? I have literally probably well over 1,000 items of rolling stock easily. That would be quite a few videos to get through that. I wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest with you. Valley Brook to Model Railway. Good evening, Jenny. Evening to you. Dungeonwood Model Railway. CMX is superb. Yeah, it is. It's an expensive track cleaner, but I've only heard really good things about it. Wolfie Wolf. I had a lovely little jaunt on the West Set Railway from mine. That's very funny small world. I thought the area looked familiar. I know. Yeah, this is Zoe's office full of games. So, oh, look at that. Just pulling them off the shelf. There's literally over 1,000 different PS2 games in here. But yeah, some really rare ones as well. She'll be downstairs going, "Oh no, Jenny's messing with the collection." Suikoden 5. Acting like I know what on earth these things are. But hey, yeah, anywho. Model Railway YouTube community group. Do you have plans to visit any Model Railway exhibitions? Yes, I'm planning on being at Worley on the Sunday, and War of the Worlds will be being exhibited hopefully at Alexandra Palace. And I'm doing a Rainhill exhibition in, I think it's 3rd of November, something like that. So there are a few things coming up, but yeah, it would be a pleasure to meet up as well. Certainly, I need to do more of that with the YouTube community. I feel like I'm like the hidden member of the YouTube Model Railway video community, because I never get to meet a lot of people in person because I'm such a busy individual. I never go to any of the meetups. Never really get invited, but I think, you know, it is just people forget about me. I don't know. Maybe they think I smell. Mark Wilson, when will it stop raining? I don't know, to be honest. It's been raining a lot here. No. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Right, there's a history behind the Malmod stuff. We've got 3. We've got a stationary engine, a really old one that runs off a meths burner. That was my grandfather's, so that has immense sentimental value. I remember as a very small kid, he used to get it out in his shed and fire it up, and I was just like, I blown away by it. The second one, Zoe was given by her now dead uncle, and that's a steam traction engine, you know, with a little roof, canopy roof. She will never get rid of that. And the third one was mine from when I was a child, and it's the Mamod Steamroller. And again, it was a hard one saving up, and I have a lot of fond memories of running that with my dad. So I'm afraid, no, none of the 3 Mamods are for sale. But if you're interested, Bolton Model Mart still has new stock of certain Mamod things for sale. I've seen quite a few bits and pieces actually in the window, still with that lovely sheen on the wheels and everything. So if you're looking for Mamod equipment, I mean, obviously you're paying new prices for it. Bolton Model Mart still stocks some of that stuff, still got a load in stock. Otis JB, does anybody know whose layouts they use for the clips before and after the advert breaks? They look really good. Actually, yes, I do know. If you go to RM Web, there's a thread about it there. And it was a model railway club in Leamington Spa, I think. And that's basically the models in their club. They did a whole load of the filming of the low-level shots, and that's what they used for the clips. I was hoping they might actually use some of the clips from my model railway, because they did film Weir Yard. It did feature in the promotional trailers for the series, but I haven't seen it in any of those yet. Mark Wilson, are you going to the 4-day autumn diesel gala at the Severn Valley Railway? I keep getting invited to the Severn Valley Railway by numerous different people. It's simply a case of time, it has to be said. I'll have to work something out. But I don't know. No immediate plans. D87 Kelly, Otis 1 is Clarendon by the Leamington Warwick Model Railway Society. It's a P4 lane. Yeah, Leamington. I knew it. But yeah, they went and filmed a whole load of the club layouts. They're all from that club as far as I'm aware. Splart Man, the secret with soldering is primal rage. Oh, okay. Otis JB, thanks Kelly. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. So yeah, that's where they're from. Brockwell Lane, looking forward to see the T9 at Great Central Gala this weekend. Oh, visiting Loco. Andy 1962 bought the Gauge Master Stroke Pico track cleaner. Okay for light track cleaning or keeping roads clean once you have manually cleaned with cloth or track rubbers. Hopeless with any oil on track. Ah, is that the one it's like a high frequency track cleaning thing. You cannot use that with DCC locos. In fact, if you're using a DCC fitted loco but running it in DC mode, you can't use it because it will fry the chip. So just to warn you of that. Vampira, yes, 2 week soldering irons is a thing that I curse a lot about. Yeah, I've thrown soldering irons away for being far too weak. Leslie Gilpin, time to get my bread from the oven. It smells great. Ooh, freshly baked bread. D827 Kelly, I recognise the others, but I can't remember the names. I think they're all from the same Model Railway Club. Splartman, this is all good, but let's see your solders. Vampire, I use an old industrial mechanic soldering iron, only one that worked well for me. I think it's over 300 watts or so. Yeah, I use ones, I've actually got two identical ones. They came from Smith's Instruments in Ustlavera, which actually shut in the 1980s, I believe. But I got two of these, and they are I'm not sure what make they are, but they're very high powered and really good. And testament to the fact they probably date back to the 1970s, and they still work really, really well. Basing TMD, so soldering irons, what wattage would you recommend? As I have a 40 watt, will that do? I don't know what wattage mine are. I couldn't tell you on that. Maybe somebody else has some info on that. Philip Page, oh, it was all steam when I was a kid. It was all BR when I was a kid. But no, I remember BR blue, but that's about it really. Station Road Model Railway, talking about modelling other country based in New Zealand. I love British Railways. Aha, yeah, of course people are doing it the other way. There's actually a lot of people in New Zealand and Australia who model British outline. So it's always good to hear from you all. Really good. Because I think overseas modelers tend to have different techniques and styles of building things. And it's great to learn a lot. I've learnt an awful lot from, in particular, US modelers. I think there's some great skills out there. And also Sweden as well, because I write for Modelianische Magasinet. They have some interesting techniques and materials and manufacturers, so it's all good. Les Cliff. Ask Les Cliff about the rent. So we're looking at about the £700 mark. For those that I've just seen his thing. Les Cliff is in the building. So is it Carol? Wanted to ask about Les's luxury 4-bedroom penthouse apartment with rooftop terrace. And the rooftop terrace is at the 3rd floor, so you get a really great view. So, right. Wolfie Wolf, Emperor, those things are for soldering planets together. I like that. Vampire Wolfie Wolf, yes, it's monstrous. I think it's been used for lead filler on car bodies originally. Yeah, that makes sense. Dungeonwood Model Railway, I've just bought a Bachmann Webb coal tank and a Lace DCC Next 18 decoder trier. Anyone else tried these decoders? The 21-pin decoders are great. Are they the ones somebody asked me about those? They're like 10 quid or something. Tell me more, Sensei, because I am really interested, because at the moment the cheapest 21-pin chips that I've been able to source are £16.50. So I am very interested in other ones. And the Next 18 chips, I think they weighed in at about 21 quid. They're very expensive. I find it annoying in a way. A lot of these steam locomotives, there's no other features. You could actually hardwire them, even if they've got a DCC socket, even a 21-pin socket or a Next 18 socket. You could hardwire them with a 4-pin chip and it wouldn't make any difference. So I really don't understand why they're fitting these bigger and bigger chips into steam locos, when actually they're not adding any features to use them. I think the closest anybody's got is Daypol are fitting flickering firebox glow, which actually is an interesting thing to see, and it's nice to see it, but they could do more. Cab lights or something like that, even marker lights, like oil lamps on the front or something, I don't know. D8 to Valleywood 2 Model Railway. I hate woodwork, so in favour I fix Barnabas Junction's S-Reg Volvo V70. That's it. Barter economy. Always grand. The 87 Kelly for most things should be okay. 25 watt is recommended too, depending on what you're doing. The higher wattage just means it holds the heat better and copes better with big bits that suck heat. Yeah, I've always found more powerful works better for me. Yeah, Vampira, you can keep the low watt ones for fine electronic soldering. Yeah, there's a word of advice actually whilst I think about it. Whilst mine works quite well soldering some very fine wire, I did once try and repair a brooch for my sister and that same soldering iron, because I think it was like a pewter thing, and it just destroyed the brooch. You were like chasing the bits trying to solder them together. It was just too powerful. Otis JB, what's the difference between EM and P4? Haven't been able to find out online. EM it's basically double O, but the railgauge is 18.83 millimeters instead of 16.5. That's pretty much the only difference. P4 is an even finer standard, so it's pretty much like scale flanges and all sorts. That's all I know. Not my thing, I have to say. Leslie Gilpin, we need more warning for a meetup. I did give you 3 weeks warning. Vampira, Wolfie Wolf, yes, but I really can't find something similar made new in my country. Mark Wilson, when Zoe's channel is on, do you become the cupboard monkey? I do, actually. You see my hand coming in, delivering drinks and food to her. Flymo Chairman 1, I need a TARDIS for the meetups, or my very own helicopter or the like. Brockwell Lane, sorry, didn't go to the meetup, but it clashed with the Seven Valley Steam Gala. That's okay. There we are. D827 Kelly. EM is 18.2mm track. P4 is 18.83, which is the correct scale. Right, okay. Right. Vampira, Wolfie Wolf, Sweden. So you'll be familiar with... I'm actually mispronouncing it, but according to Stefan Nilsson, the editor, I came fairly close. Model Järnvägsfags Magasinet, which is the Swedish model railway magazine. I write for them. I do. There we are. Les Cliffs put the rent. Rent is 675, but 700 plus will secure you the venue. It has to be seen to be believed. To be honest, there should be a bidding war on that. Les, you're doing it cheap at 675. 2 up, 2 down terraced houses go for 650 round here. So for that, in the centre of Bolton with a rooftop terrace, 4 bedrooms, don't do yourself down. Oh, the cupboard monkey's in.
Someone said they needed a TARDIS.
Oh, there we go. The TARDIS is in. Right. HJ the 9th. Have you considered getting on the 3D printing bandwagon? Stop it, Zoe. I recently bought an Anycubic photon dip printer, and I genuinely believe that it's one of the best modelling tools I've ever bought. Yeah, I think they are an aspect of the future in many ways. 3D printers, it's not just in our hobby, they're so useful in so many walks of life. What we're actually seeing is the genesis of replicator technology from Star Trek. Seriously, give it 50 years and it'll be like, and it'll just make your tea and sort of things. It's great living in the future, isn't it? But for me, I still stick with a lot of traditional modelling. I am a bit of a techno Luddite. Hardware, I used to build my own computers. Software, not really good with. I must admit, I'm still using Windows XP Professional. This computer isn't. This is using some kind of Mac OS, because it's a Mac. RJC Models Official. I know Laurie from Team Steampunk, such a lovely guy, and Kato's Pass is a lovely layout. Yeah, I've seen that layout on tour. I don't know him, but I know Dakota from the team, because he was on Biggest Little Railway. So I had to Dakota manage for a good long while. Dakota wrangling. Actually a great chap. Staunchly conservative. So in the deepest heartlands of SNP, there was this bubble of conservatism that sort of that was around him, and he was rocking the Michael Portillo deck chair trousers as well up there. Lovely chap, but can need a bit of wrangling to get the most out of him. Model Railway YouTube community group was very impressed with your 20-minute scenery build on the show. Just shows what can be created in short time. Yeah, as I said at the time, It's all about confidence, and the confidence that it doesn't matter what happens, you'll never make a complete pig's ear of it, because you can always fix any problem with scenery like that. It's so easy to do, and you just got to be confident in yourself. Leslie Gilpin, Otis, fraction of a percentage difference, P4 accurate to 4mm of the foot. Vampira, I consider a simple 3D printer for making moulds for casting type of metal for small locomotive parts. Yeah, there's a lot of uses for 3D printers. Already snowing in Sweden. Gosh, I love snow. D827 Kelly, there are also finer tolerance for weeknight. Yeah, basically P4 is like really faithful to the prototype. EM is like sort of it's a lot more accurate than 00, but it's still a few compromises, I guess. Warrington Train Spotter 2778, great to see you again. Hello, lovely weather for boats. Hope you're well. Certainly am. The trouble with the boat is that they're open topped. You have to keep scooping the water back out. Carol Taylor, next bottle please, Zoe. Actually, yeah, we're getting low here, Zoe. Apparently she only bought one. Still got pies. Well, tarts. D827 Kelly. Helgen did the Metropolitan Bobo with Saracens. I know they did. I've got two of them. I've got number 20 and number 9. Which they released. Lovely, lovely models. And when you DCC fit them, they're actually making use of a lot of the functions on the 21-pin decoder. I need to remap one of them because it's put one of the functions on F2. But F2 doesn't latch. F2 is usually used with a sound loco for things like the whistle or the horn on a diesel locomotive. So you press it, it toots, and then it turns itself off again. So having a lighting function on F2 is a really bad thing, because you press the button and as soon as you take your finger off the button, the light goes back off again. And as it's one of the marker lights, it's a bit of a pain. So I'm going to have to remap that function on the one that I've chipped, and when I chip the second one, I'll have to do the same. So I need to go delving for some info on that. I have a lot Vampire. I have a lot of old HO stuff, so I think the OO may run pretty well on the same track. Yeah, the track is the same between the two, so OO and HO will run on exactly the same track. Les Cliff, yeah, I got your reply. Don't worry. Oh, it's just jumped. Vampira, OO is pretty unusual in my country, but there are actually some collectors here too that are genuinely interested. I'm pretty new to that scale. Depending on the loading gauge of the country, the American HO stuff, to my eye, you can slap it next to the UK 00, and it doesn't necessarily look out of place, but the reality is that the 00 is a lot bigger, because 4mm to the foot instead of 3.5mm to the foot. But for a lot of people, you can mix and match, and the eye will forgive an awful lot. Leslie Gilpin says you don't get to know about meetups if you are a Facebook phobe. Yeah, probably. I don't do a lot on Facebook, it has to be said. There's only one particular group that I do on that. Essentially, I rely on, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I rely on people inviting me to events. And I do get invited, but they tend to be the more commercial end of stuff. I get invited to preserved lines. I get invited to interview people. And I also get invited to do commercial link-ups with manufacturers and retailers. So I'm going to a new product launch on the 15th. I was invited along to that. And that tends to be the direction that I'm kind of heading in. So yeah. Model Railway YouTube Community Group. You're always welcome to join us at our regular meets. We have many throughout the year, with lots coming up over the next few months, including Worley. So it would be an honour for you to join us. Yeah, I will be honoured to meet you all. Planning to get there on the Sunday, so you'll have to let me know some more information, like where you're planning to meet up and such. Vampire, a big thank you for the information about the old soldering irons. You're welcome. Andy 1962, you should come up to Model Rail Scotland on February the 20th. Great show, and YouTubers like Dave Class 47, U Junction, and Lego Man Biffo, etc. in attendance. Yeah, I do have an exhibition layout on my own. Plus, I have got the Heat 5 winning layout, War of the Worlds, to hand. Well, actually, that is in storage at Hatton's. But yeah, get in touch. You can book it. And book it and they will come. Game Hammer Classic Gaming. Jenny is a real cupboard monkey. She even makes the noises. But not as much as Zoe makes the noises, because Zoe is the real cupboard monkey. You can say that again, Zoe. Come on, Zoe, behave yourself. Apparently Zoe likes to make monkey noises as well, and she likes to sniff farts. Flymo Chairman 1, thank you, Zoe. Station Road Model Railway, cheapest 21-pin decoder I'm aware of is the Digitrax DH126MT, only 2 functions. I have a couple of these installed and they work well. 39 New Zealand dollars here. I imagine they would be below 20 in the UK. £16.50, which it's actually a rebadged Gauge Master DCC chip, and it's a full works 21-pin decoder, as far as I'm aware. But I get them through Hatton's, and they're branded Hatton's. But I believe that they are a rebadged Gauge Master decoder. Excuse me. Sensei telling me more. Dungeon Wood Model Railway, the lace DCC 6-pin and 21-pin and $9.95-ish off eBay. They work well so far. Had a couple about 6 months. Didn't understand the next 18 being put in a steamer. Maybe it's possible to attach lights. Interesting. I'm going to have to look them up. 6-pin and 21-pin. I will look them up because that is a really good price, especially for the 6-pin. I've tended to find the 6-pin are incredibly expensive considering they're just like a cut down 8-pin decoder. I don't really understand, especially when they're getting fitted to a locomotive that actually would work equally as well with a 4-pin decoder. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. It's the London and North Western Railway Bachmann coal tank is what I found with the next 18 in. No provision to attach lights, I have to say. I don't know why they fitted it. Carol Taylor, okay, thanks concerning apartment. Shall be in touch. Boom! They are. Tell Les I sent you. Although he already knows, he's been in the room. Andy 1962, thanks for showing us your TARDIS, Zoe. Thank you. Right. Bluegrass Rail fan, I'm back. I had to feed the kittens. I found Friday by my building where I could keep my model trains. They're barely 4 weeks. Oh gosh, kittens, so cute. Dungeonwood Model Railway, you can fit a Stay Alive to the Lace DCC decoders too, but I haven't tried this yet. Anyone tried them out with Stay Alives? Warrington Train Spotter 2778. If anyone is interested, Argos are doing a sale on train sets. I'll have to look into that actually, because sometimes Argos has done some, in the past, they've done some of the Hornby Super Detail set, like the Flying Scotsman set where you had Super Detail A4 and 3 of the All Singing All Dancing teak coaches, so that might be worth a peruse. Flymo Chairman 1, it's like Big Clive's Manx Beer Club is catching with all this mastication. Now in package again, and it's past the limit on eating times for me. Yeah, Big Clive, I do watch his videos. Caro Belga, hi Jenny, how's your dad's traction engines and can we have a video update possibly on them? Actually, yeah, I should do that. I was up there today. It's coming along nicely. It's going slower than it was for a variety of reasons, most notably because they're spending the kids' inheritance by going away on lots and lots of cruises. Doesn't bother me, but there. Game Hammer Classic Gaming. I can't believe you said that, Jenny. That was a scurrilous piece of truth. I am disappointed that you have let the world know. Zoe, you're not going to win at this. Richard Hall, the new Bachmann J72 features the next 18 decoder, sensible due to its firebox flicker and ready-fitted sugar cube speaker. The only thing I would say about that, I mean, the sugar cube speaker, yeah, but are they doing away with 21-pin decoders and just going for next 18 instead? or are the two going to remain concurrent in a manufacturer's range? That's what I can't quite understand. But you can do the Firebox Flicker, a 6-pin decoder, has the functions to do that. That's how the Dapol London South Western Railway B4 does it. And it's also how the the O gauge one's 21-pin. But yeah, no, a 6-pin decoder will do that function. Flymo Chairman, don't know what happened there. Okay. Otis JB, stay alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Say, staying alive. I can't sing, so I'm going to stop annoying you. Congratulations, Canadian Rail fan. Have I missed? Aha! So let's have a look. It's missed a big chunk. Station Road Model Railway, latest DCC. You get what you pay for. Had one installed and found it emitted a noisy, high-pitched sound. Funny enough, some of the Hornby TTS chips do that as well. It has to be said. Mark Wilson, in a box of 8 French fancies, what is the maximum acceptable to eat by one person at a sitting, as my little brother's just eaten 4? I believe that, depending on whether you can get away with it or not, you may scoff all 8 if you can quickly hide the evidence and deny they ever existed. 57305. Northern Princess. Hi Jenny, I'm currently on a Voyager from Newcastle to Birmingham Hell Street. I'm going to model all the locos from Downton Abbey, which will include putting LNER on an SECR C-Class in light green. Oh right, so they used the Bluebell 592 but painted it in LNER colours. That's most strange, although I guess they filmed it at the Bluebell Railway, but even so, I'm trying to think what LNER locos, if any, they have there. I'm not sure, you know. But it seems strange because all the nerds will spot that one. But Canadian Rail fan, sorry Jenny, my girlfriend popped the question. As a male, I should, but she did. Oh, and you said yes. Oh, well, congratulations, everybody. Congratulations, Canadian Rail fan, from myself and everybody at the Jenny Book Club. And Canadian Rail fan, as people, long-time viewers of the live stream, I actually know, because we've talked about it before in the past, I was one of the production crew for Great Model Railway Challenge, so I actually met him in person at the filmings. But, oh, well done. I'm really glad for you. Brilliant. Canadian Rail fan, well, what have been doing in the stream? Brilliant. I'm really happy for you. Really happy for you. Oops, it's jumped again. If I'm missing comments, it's not because I've just decided to ignore people. It's suddenly it'll jump and I lose my place. Let's have a look. D827 Kelly. Backman are standardising on Next 18. I thought they were standardising on 21 pin. We fear change. I liked 8-pin. Now, it feels like Hornby largely standardised on 8-pin, which I quite liked. But I understood some of the benefits of the 21-pin over the 8-pin. But then when they started fitting, like they did 6 pins and Next 18, it's like the 6-pin is the one which I understand the least. So what was the point? The Hornby 4-pin I saw the point of, and that is great for hard wiring. But 6-pin, it just seems to me a complete dead end. Barnabas Junction. Hiya Jenny, I use Layers DCG decoders in most of my locos. 8 and 21-pin work brilliantly. I've purchased approximately 40 so far and only ever had a couple of them fail. Definitely worth trying them out. I've never actually as yet, touch wood, had a DCC decoder fail on me. So I'd say by and large, the ones I've been buying, Hatton Zone, which I think are rebadged Gauge Master themselves, DCC Concepts, Zen, Bachmann and Hornby, I've not had a single one blow on me. So maybe I've just been lucky, I don't know. Ooh, comments are coming in quick there. Richard Hall, the concept for Bank Middle East is going for next 18s and all steam and small locos with large diesel electrics with 21s. Why don't they just put 21 pin in everything? Is it really that difficult? One standard chip that does everything, and then you're not messing about. Like, I get so hacked off when you come to DCC fit a loco, you pop the lid and it's like, oh, I haven't got one of them. It's just really blooming annoying. Lemon bakewells for the win. Trifle bakewells, excuse me, are the best. Huh. Yeah, how nice. Otis JB. Supermarkets selling model trains is not a good idea. I saw in the description of a Hornby K1 in Tesco. When were they selling the K1s in Tesco? They'd written batteries not included. Yeah. There are a few thicky thickos in writing some of them descriptions, it has to be said. Flyman Chairman 1. Tornado Express set for 96 from Argos. Is that good? Is that going to be the super detail one, or is that going to be the railroad one? I'm not sure. Leslie Gilpin, I just wish N-scale drop-in decoders were a lot cheaper. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The Hornby 4-pin decoders, I've had a lot of luck with them doing hard wiring, and they're actually quite small. So what you may find is that hard wiring with the Hornby 4-pin decoder is possibly the way to go for a lot of things, although it won't give you lights or anything. Ewood Railway, it's Hornby, it won't be great. This is the Argos thing. Not necessarily. There is some really good Hornby models. It depends whether it's railroad or whether it's full fat job. Derek Grant, Hornby Hobby Santa Express train set, £44. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Warrington Train Spotters 2778, Santa's Little Helper. £45 might be good for someone who's just getting into the hobby. Yeah, kids love that stuff. But, Barnabas Junction, Lace DCC decoders can also be purchased with Stay Alive included for extra few pence. I'm going to have to look up those. Flymo Chairman 1, congratulations, Canadian Rail fan. All the best wishes to you and your future wife. Yeah, I can only reiterate that. It's always nice, isn't it, when somebody proposes and they say yes. Oh, so when's the wedding going to be? Or am I presumptuous here? It's like, hey, hold on, I've just proposed. D827 Kelly, space is often the main reason for 4 and 6-pin decoders. I have to say, I came to fit a 6-pin decoder into, which Hornby loco was it? Oh, the B2 Packet. And actually, they're not using 2 of the pins, so I really don't understand why they're using a 6-pin decoder. Same with the Terrier. Should have just stuck with the 4-pin. No messing about. But for some reason, they've brought out this 6-pin decoder, and they're not using the other functions on it. Okay, yeah, maybe they're future-proofing, but they already had the 4-pin decoder, which is a lot cheaper. So I actually ended up resolving to hardwire that decoder because the socket was in the wrong place to actually fit that decoder in. The wires weren't long enough. I was a bit disappointed on the DCC fitting of the B2 Packet. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have bought a 4-pin decoder for a substantial saving and just hardwired it. Valleybrook 2 Model Railway, I love your stream. It's like my Facebook Friday show in Model Railway YouTube something group. Oh yes, somebody did say what. I drink, eat and randomly sing with cheeky innuendos as well as train talks with guests. Yeah, it's a winning formula, I have to say. When I started doing these Shed Chat Lives, as they were originally called, and they sort of morphed into the Jenny Monday Club. I can't remember who suggested that name, but a big thank you to whoever you were, because that name has stuck. It appears on all the merchandise as well. But yeah, it's just a really great format, it has to be said. Canadian... Ooh, it's jumped. do, 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 do. It's jumped. Oh, Canadian rail fan. Well, to train building 9-foot end-to-end layout, 5-foot scenic section and 2 2-foot fiddle yards, quite small trains, but really cannot spend too much money because of wedding. Amen to that. We did our wedding on well, it wasn't on the cheap, but we still blew through like $8,000. I think it was $3,000 just for the dresses. They saw us coming. J. Paul Anderson, hi Jenny. Do you also enjoy the factory tours over at Rapidos as well as their humour? I haven't actually watched any of those. I must go and take a look, to be honest with you. I haven't had a lot to do with Rapido. Not for any reason. Just turns out I haven't. Right. Warrington Train Spotter 2778, cheaper version, class £880. I must go and have a look, actually, the Argos sale. Leslie Gilpin, Rapido's videos are excellent, especially the ones that show the Chinese factory. Yeah, I must go and have a look. 57305, Northern Princess, Downton Abbey used the 592C class for the series, and then for the movie they used the LNER Q6. They put on them fictional versions of the LNER with a banner around the logos. You do wonder why they do that. Canadian rail fan. Anyone got Ruston diesel from Hornby? Because yours has come. It's got a bit garbled in transit, that. I haven't got it yet, but I believe that the initial release of the Works liveried one, the actual Ruston Works livery, has reached the UK and is in the shops, because I saw them at Arcadia Models in Shaw. But the one that I think I ordered the War Department one. I'm not entirely sure, but mine hasn't come yet. Canadian rail fan, wedding Jenny should be in August. All right, good luck for you on that. Leslie Gilpin, still to meet Jason Shern, as he only gets on Rapido stand at certain exhibition in the UK. Andy 1962, the Hatton's badged Gauge Master 21 pins chips are good value. The Bachmann 21 pin decoders seem to have been downgraded, behave differently from the older version. I don't think. Oh no, I do have some of the Bachmann 21 pin decoders that came hard fitted to. I think D827 Kelly has the 21 pin decoder in, and it came as a new DCC fitted, but I've never bought them myself. Mark Wilson, have you seen the new Coca-Cola set? I saw the pre-production samples at Worley last year. And yes, it does look interesting, I have to say. Richard Hall, it appears rather interestingly Hornby are producing a TTS Terrier sound chip. Ooh. That colour me intrigued. Interesting. I'm really excited to see that, actually. DRAL 60103 6-pin NEM 651 is an N-gauge standard. Maybe many double O's are not familiar with. Advantages: the micro size of the decoder mean they can fit in small OO prototypes, so don't be too critical. Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that for a lot of the UK outline steam locomotives, there's no additional functions. Glowing Firebox Glow tends to be the exception rather than the rule, and what I'm saying is actually the Hornby 4-pin decoder is a lot cheaper and would actually be quite a useful standard to standardise on. I have to say, the Gauge Master DCC 23, funnily enough, is the only chip that will fit into the Andrew Barclay shunters from Hatton's. So I had to specifically source one of those to DCC chip my Andrew Barclay. And it's actually, like you say, just plug in, no harness or wires. It does work. 57305 Northern Princess, Downton Abbey also uses a Brighton Terrier and Southern 1638 and a BR standard with LNER logos. It's a bit like the Great St. Trinian's train robbery. They had Longmoor Military Railway locos repainted in fictional BR liveries. Model Railway YouTube Community Group. Yeah, Model Railway YouTube Community Group. I had seen your name before, and I was like, just one of the letters escaped me. Otis JB, Rapido make quality videos and models, but are definitely not afraid to charge for it. Yeah, they are, and it's one of the reasons that put me off the Sterling single from the National Railway Museum. Was quite simply the price. And you had to kind of pre-order it well in advance to stand a chance of getting it, and I just felt it was too much. You know, it reaches a point where you have to say, "I'm sorry, I'm out. I can't afford that," or can't justify the cost. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. There is a model railway exhibition in Warrington, October 19th, 20. Anyone is interested in the area. Unfortunately, I'm up in the Lake District doing something super secret. So wouldn't be able to make that. Canadian Rail fan. My mum, when I told we were getting married, right time for kid, my face went, my model railway room. Rallybrook 2 model railway. Shall we send you a hashtag MRYCJ mug for you to drink out of? Yeah, why not? If you get in touch through the Facebook page, Facebook message me and we'll sort something out for that. But yeah, I don't mind. I've got my Monday Club mugs are not in the room. But yeah, no worries. Always glad for some mugs. I'm a mug for mugs. Oh, and you sent an invite via Facebook. Thank you very much. I like transport. So, what's new? Stuff. I'm not going to be a pop star. I'm not going to be on Top of the Pops. But I'm collaborating on an album. I've written the words. Bruno Grive, better known as 1/5 of the number one. I think they've had 3 number ones. Group Terry Poison, disbanded now. But he's also done remixes for, amongst other people, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I'm collaborating with him on an album. So it's really weird for somebody like me who can't sing, can't dance, can't play a musical instrument. So there we are, that's new. What else? Won the heat on GMRC. I already knew about that, of course, but you only found out the other week. So yeah, we're through to the semi-final. So watch and see. It'd be good. It'd be good. The standard this year on GMRC is really, really high. It has to be said. Even layouts that are getting knocked out in the heats are of an amazing quality. So I have to say, well worth watching this year. And look out for some of these layouts when they do turn up at exhibitions. Leslie Gilpin, the TTS sound chip for Terrier appeared on that 2-part programme from earlier in the year about Hornby. Didn't realise that. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm interested, really interested. Carol Taylor, Jen, Beatties did the Cunard line with a rack of 10 Pullman, 12-wheel bullied Battlebrand 3408, 213 squad in 1995. Cost a bomb then. Then Beatties went bust. Worth loads now. Gosh, right, so the Cunard line with a rack of 10 Pullman, 10 Pullman, 12-wheel bullied Battlebrand. Gosh, yeah, that would have been expensive even then. But yeah, I know what you mean. It'd be really rare now. I remember Beatties. J. Paul Anderson, Leslie Gilpin, yeah, Jason. Ooh, it just jumped. Looks to be a great guy. Very passionate and knowledgeable. Mark Wilson, Hatton's released a picture of the Coca-Cola set today on Twitter. I saw the pre-production samples, actually. They were at Alexandra Palace in the cabinet. My Jenny Cam Alexandra Palace video shows it. So, way ahead of the curve. Carol Taylor, yeah, true, seen it. I like transport. I'm a hypocrite. Please, can I be moderator? There we are. One new moderator. Nobody else ask. Because I'm afraid we only have the budget for one new moderator at a time. Otis JP, what music do you like? I'm anything Motown. The Supremes are my all-time favourites. I like all sorts. I like all good music. I have a very, very vast music collection. So yeah, I do like a bit of Motown, but I also like everything from like thrash metal, ABBA, classical. I like a bit of Chopin and Rimsky-Korsakov, Shahrazada, stuff like that. So yeah, I have a very, very wide taste. Flymo Chairman, we're looking at the Canadian Rapido site. Interesting, the CN Tempo whiskey glasses look tempting. Woohoo! I like transport. All right. Canadian Rail fan. Anyone hear any Hornby rumours next year? Yes, but not allowed to tell you about them. J. Paul Anderson. Jenny, do you know Graham Musprat's layout Fisherton Sarum? I am familiar with Graham Musprat's work. He is a very good modeller. A lovely rendition of Salisbury MPD set around 1947. He has a blog as well discussing mainly southern models and prototypes. Yeah, he is a very good modeller. I've seen a lot of his work out and about there. I don't know him to talk to him, but I know of him very much so. Mark Wilson, if you can't dance, sing or play an instrument, then Stocker, Aitken and Waterman will be interested in you. I'll be honest, I never got on with Pete Waterman. Tried to, but I don't know, maybe it just didn't click. Maybe I caught him on bad days. But then again, what's his name? Tony Wilson, Factory Records, used to work on and off in the same building as him at Granada Key Street. Used to go in there. I was working as a researcher for a big name aviation journalist, Chris Yates, and met him a few times. And again, maybe I just caught him on bad days, didn't get on with him. Now what we need is a Coca-Cola P-Class. I like transport. I don't think they'll release that, I'll be honest with you. Barnabas Junction have PM'd very Facebook Messenger. No problem. I'll take a look at them after the live stream. 57305 Northern Princess. And then I'm going to model GWR Castle 1496, Highclere Castle and B17, which will be renumbered and named to Downton Abbey. Oh, excellent. Looking forward. Carol Taylor, to be honest, the 60s and 70s had great sounds. Well, yeah. But you see, I thought the 90s and the 80s as well have a lot of great sounds. And I still listen to a lot of new music. You know, dare I say it, occasionally I listen to Radio 1 late at night. You know, when all the rubbish music stops and they go back to good music. It's how I discovered people like the Blossoms, the 1975, groups like that. There's a few others. Oh, what else? There's quite a few. What are they called? The album's called Fire and Ice. Oh, it escapes me. But yeah, I still buy new music. Churches as well is another one that I discovered through Radio 1. So I do keep my hand in with new music, and I still find new sounds which I really like. I'm hip and down with the kids. Can it be wrong? Hey, can I get a follow on Instagram? You could, except I'm not on Instagram. J. Paul Anderson, was Pete Waterman the UK promoter of ABBA back in the day? I've not heard anything about that. I couldn't say. Barnabas Junction, I know I planned production by Hornby, but I'm sworn to secrecy. Sorry. Oh, you probably know the same thing I know. Canadian Railfan, let me guess, some more industrial locos for Hornby. If I'm right, blink. There you are, that's all I'll say. Right, James Carroll. Jenny, I went online to Bolton Model Mart and searched for Mammoth equipment. None listed. I do reside in USA. We'll call them tomorrow. Yeah, well worth it. They've got them in the window at the moment, which obviously is no good to you. But yes, they do have brand new Mammoth stuff. So when you call him, tell him that I sent you, because both he and his staff know who I am. So might get a discount. Might not, but it's always good for my ego. Warrington train spotted 2778. Pete Waterman is from Warrington, sadly. Yeah, I know. But the main reason I asked to be moderator is I saw only one other moderator was here today because we don't want any trolls. Yeah, too right. Actually, there's Warrington train spotter, yourself, and Zoe's knocking about as well. She is in the chat room. She's just not saying anything. Probably watching She-Ra or something on Netflix. Carol Taylor, who remembers Northern Soul? Never gonna give you up. Yeah, I know Northern Soul. Yeah. Tony Britton, notice on closed music shop door. Gone Chopin Bach in a minuet. Carol Taylor, easy listening helped at uni. See, I like Ibiza Sunset tunes if I wanted to chill out. I like transport. How did Bully Days? Cog removal. Oh yeah, I took out the worm gears. I didn't remove the cogs. The cogs are still there. I just removed the worm gears from the top of the gear towers. So Bully Day does now freewheel, and I've been running her double-headed with Eisteddfod Gwinnett Lithol. And actually she runs really well. Canadian Rail fan. Next GMRC episodes are on Friday and Saturday this week. Hello, hello. What do you mean on Saturday? Well, they're doing Heat 4 and 5 back to back. Or does it just get repeated on the Saturday? Flymo Chairman 1. Radio 1 put me off when 75% of the programme was just beeps. It wasn't that for me. It's all this urban stuff. And it's all auto-tune nonsense. It's like, yeah, like, bruv. Yeah, I'll rub the place and put my hoodie up. And yeah, like, bruv. And I just listen to it and it's like, that's just rubbish. Tony Britton. Yeah, love my reggae. Good reggae. I do like good reggae. Unfortunately, it's like a lot of things. A lot of bad reggae as well. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Will Hornby list their 2020 releases at Worley? Don't know. J. Paul Anderson. What do you think of Folko, Jenny? Rock Me, Amadeus, etc. It's not something I may go out of my way to buy or listen to, but it's not what I'd call unpleasant. Canadian Rail fan, back to back. That I didn't know. Interesting to know. I like transport. Thanks for the update on Bullet 8. Yeah, thanks for that suggestion. I'd have probably got round to it in the end. But yeah, I removed the drive shafts because obviously they were just flopping about loose, and I just removed the worm gears from the top of the gear towers. So she rolls along quite nicely, but there is a little bit of resistance. So what it means is that you can park her in a siding and she doesn't roll away. D827 Kelly. Hornby and Bachman announcements are usually in January, but not always. Sometimes they'll slip a few extra bits and pieces out during the year. James Carroll. Jenny, thanks will do. You did say, mention your name. You referred me there. Brilliant. Thank you. It's just a bit of ego massage. I'll go in there and I'll look out for all the Mamod stuff disappearing from the window. I think the Mamod steam car. I think he had one of them as well. And there was one of these stationary engines, but the one with the large base plate that you can screw Meccano bits in, so you can kind of make a big mill type engine thing. Mark Wilson. How does Bob Marley like his donuts? Would it possibly be with jamming? Mark Wilson, does the budget go up on the next round of GMRC? No, it actually goes down slightly for reasons which will become clear when we get to the semi-finals. But I'm not telling you any more because I got told that there is a spy from Channel 5 who keeps an eye on me just to make sure, and not just me. I hasten to add, they're probably keeping an eye on everybody who's got social media who's been on GMRC this year, so that we don't spill the beans. But I'll get a nasty phone call from somebody going, now, do you remember you signed an NDA? And if you'd have read it properly, you'd see the bit where we could break your kneecaps. So how would you like this to be done? So I can't tell you anything. There's somebody at Channel 5 going, we didn't say that. What are you talking about? We're nice. We put Home and Away on. We can't possibly be evil. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Yeah, D827 Kelly. I'm in the main range. Yeah, main range comes Alexandra Palace, I think. And they have a few others extra which kind of get slipped out basically when they need a bit of limelight or to upstage another manufacturer. Yeah, Flymo Chairman 1, that's what I meant. Urban crud on radio and all that stupid gangstar stuff. Yeah, and it's like some guy who's got this sort of London youth accent going, yeah, bruv, yeah. And it's not music, and you can hear where it's auto-tuned. That's what annoys me about auto-tune, is you can hear that it's being auto-tuned. I mean, come on, you could auto-tune me. There's no talent involved in that, and it's just a nasty, nasty sound. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. I'm going to Worley this for the first time this year. Is it worth doing? Yes, it is. Worley is very much worth doing. I'll hopefully be going on the Sunday. But there's a lot to see. You probably won't get to see everything in one day. D827 Kelly, as for Pete Waterman, he's actually from Coventry. Ah, yeah, that does ring a bell, but lives in Warrington with his massive O-gauge layout depicting Leamington, which I hasten to add, other people built. He's not like a super modeler. He's a modeler with deep pockets, it has to be said, because I know a few people who've worked on that layout. Leslie Gilpin, Warrington Transporter, Whalley is great but very crowded. Yeah, get there early. Otis JB, Channel 5 sound like the Leaky Blinders. Never watched that. I assume it's some kind of like Victorian gangster thing or something. No, they're very nice people. I actually met the commissioner for Channel 5, and he was a great bloke, actually. I got on, or at least I seemed to get on really well with him. We had a really good chat about audience demographics and stuff. Tony Britton, Bob and Marcia, Bob Marley, Toots and the Maytals, etc. Old school. Oh, yeah. Yeah, rocking it old school. Were they all on the Coventry two-tone label as well? D827 Kelly, no, they have their own trade shows for announcements now with select model railway press invited. See, I must admit, on the 5th, I think it's 15th of next month, I've been invited to one of those. So watch this space. I like transport. I know you're not allowed to say, but here's a rhetorical question. Could Hornby possibly be releasing a new 91? No, I don't know. What's your guess? You'll have to wait and see. Mark Wilson, is it true Channel 5 are doing a programme on cupboard monkeys in captivity? You'll have to ask Zoe. She's big on cupboard monkeys. I like transport. What's till onwards? I doubt we'll get it before 2022. Carol Taylor, Mammon Stream traction tractor I purchased for £5 in 1975, now worth 115 plus. I have the Steam £10 an hour roller, £196. What an investment. Look nice with my cabinet. Yeah, they do look quite nice. I always wanted the train, the O-gauge train, but never got it. D827 Kelly, as a Whalley Club member, I'm biased, but it is good. Busy, take your own lunch if you don't want to be paying through the nose for food at the NEC. Yeah, I'll go with that. The food is very expensive. It's a captive audience. So, take stuff with you. And also, very importantly, and I'm sure Kelly will reiterate this, take something to drink. Take a bottle of drink, even just like a big bottle of fizzy water, something like that, because you can get quite thirsty and you don't want to be had over a barrel for buying a drink there. Flymo Chairman 1. Elise Scher made a point of rattling the Auto-Tune Brigade's cage. I gave her a point for that. Still don't like it. Yeah, Believe. That came out like 95. That was kind of the first time that Auto-Tune broke cover. And she made a feature of it because it was new and novel. And then loads of talentless imbeciles started making whole songs like that. And it's rubbish. Tony Britton, mainly the Trojan record label. Aha. Hermitage Road, heavy metal for me. Oh, right, so you like Napalm Death, Megadeth, Metallica, Nazareth, Judas Priest, that kind of thing. Gamehammer Classic Gaming, I knew you'd be listening. I am not a cupboard monkey. Warrington Train Spotted 2778. No, Cavalex models are doing a new version of the Class 91. Yeah, they're the ones who've announced it. There is a rumour that another manufacturer is also well on the way to making one too, so watch this space. Flymo Chairman 1. Jenny, is this model railway press? What are we talking about? I can't tell you any of the secrets I know. All I can tell you is that on the 15th, I have been invited to a press event for a Locomotive model launch for a manufacturer in conjunction with two other organisations, and I got invited to it, and I feel really honoured. It's the first one that I've ever been approached and invited on, so I'm really looking forward to going. And I presume the whole point is that they want me to, kind of do a video or something. Otherwise why would they invite me? So you will find out after the 15th. Leslie Gilpin, last year's Whalley, I managed to get my bro, who is a Whalley member, to pay for my lunch. Oh, do they get a discount? J. Paul Anderson, what group was it Ozzy Osbourne was a member of? Black Sabbath, of course. Mark Wilson, Whalley last year, £19 ticket and £16 to park. Yeah, the parking is an absolute daylight robbery. They should have had Dick Turpin in that parking booth. Barnabas Junction, Class 91 is not what I know about. I know that Cavalex were doing it, and I do also know that there is an industry inside rumour, so it may well turn out to be true, that another manufacturer, I actually don't know which other manufacturer, was also working on it. Flymo Chairman 1. Oh, she's got you on side there. Otis JB, steam or diesel? I like both. They've each got their charm. James Carroll, Jenny, been fun but gotta run. Many thanks for the help. You're absolutely welcome. Hopefully see you again here. And also don't forget that the entire video goes up live at the end of this stream once it's been processed and will stay on YouTube and you can watch it at your leisure. Yeah, Tony Britton, Black Sabbath. I called it before you. I like transport. Warrington Transport 2778. Yeah, that's why Hornby might do one. It happened with Terriers and Prairies, then with 66. They've released 9 liveries to compete with Hattons and Bachman. Flymo Chairman 1, Metallica. Oh yeah, Ride the Lightning. For whom the bell tolls. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Worley for me, 19 quid plus the train fare. Yeah, but the thing is, train fare to Worley for me would cost more than 16 quid. D827 Kelly. Mark, drive to local stations and park for free and cheap ticket to Birmingham International. Actually, that's a good point. I did that for a job interview in Middlesbrough. I drove and parked at Stockton and then just took the train in rather than paying the Middlesbrough city centre parking fees. It worked out quite nice. Lesser Gilpin. If you can travel by train cheaper than that, it's well worth it. Canadian Rail Fan. When I went to Worley, I spent 600 quid. It's easily done, it has to be said. Flymo Chairman 1. Jenny, go girl. Have fun on the 15th. Thank you very much, and I will report back. And we'll probably get the video out fairly quickly. I think the 15th is a Tuesday, so it may well even be that we will work to get it out in the Wednesday video slot. Otis JB. No, meant is the Loco that you've been invited to the launch of, is it steam or diesel? I don't know. It's super secret under wraps at the moment, so I'll find out on the day. What I might do is I do have a Twitter account. Don't tend to use it much, but I may tweet out photographs. I might put some photos on the Facebook group as well. So keep an eye on that, and we'll see where we go. Gosh, am I up to date? I am up to date on the comments. Go me. Zoe, is that last... I know I said you have it, but did you... Scoffle, the lemon bakewells. Canadian Rail Fan. When are semis on GMRC? Well, there's 2 more heats to go. Apparently, you told me that they're showing the next 2 episodes back to back next week, which would mean that the week after on the Friday would be the semi, but I need to check that. J. Paul Anderson. I'm not a big diesel fan, but one that stands out for me was the double-coupled American prototype, Southern Pacific, I think, built by Krauss Maffei in Munich. The Americans called it the Kraut. Not familiar with that. Is that a bit like the idea where you had the A unit and the B unit, which is essentially the same locomotive, but streamlined cabbed front and then a non-cab B unit, so it would effectively double-headed but with 1 cab. Oh, you did save it for me. You sure you don't want one?
I've had 3.
Have you? You know what I could really do with? Ice cream. Have you got ice cream?
Do you want a cider with it?
You told me there was no more cider.
The shop is still open.
No, don't go out again. No. Don't worry about it. Actually, I could do with a glass of fizzy water with some a light dab of juice in.
What kind of juice?
Orange, I think, today. I'm in a real orange juice mood at the moment. I never used to like it. Warrington Transport 2778. When I go to Worley, my wallet will cry. Yeah, I think everybody's bank balance cries at Worley and Alexandra Palace as well. New Mills Model Railway. Just watch Everard Junction's latest update. Such an outstanding model. He is actually. Yeah, he's very good. I do subscribe to his channel as well. It's wonderful to have so many talented modelers in here sharing their tips, advice and talents. Boom! Thank you very much. And certainly ask away if you want any tips on making stuff. I'm always happy to share tips and advice. Otis JB. I love some of the early experimental electrics from the early 1900s. Yeah, I know what you mean. They're like little boxy things. They kind of Some of the early diesel locomotives as well. I think some of them actually ran on petrol. They've got a peculiar charm to them. Carol Taylor, check out Ashford in Kent Model Railway Museum being constructed. A few well-known singers are involved from the 60s. Think who it may be. I don't know, Rod Stewart? What's his name from The Who? It's not a pint glass, but can I just take this opportunity to show off the merchandise? If you head on over to Teespring, you'll be able to pick yourself up one of these bad girls. Woohoo! There we are with the JK logo one side and the Jenny Railways Monday Club on the other. Oh, that is refreshing. James Pets, orange juice moods are happy sort of moods. Yes, they are. Tony Britton, totally agree, New Mills. UK Freight Spotter, hello to you. Canadian Rail Fan, I'm surprised Worley Model Club, Railway Club have not done GMRC yet. Well, actually, the MRC in London haven't either. I think a lot of model railway clubs, there's like the old guard of snooty rivet counters who are like, oh no, it's beneath us. Model Train Fan 101, Jenny just checked and GMRC is not back to back this week. Oh, I thought as much. I don't know, Canadian Rail Fan, where did you get that Saturday thing from? Apparently it's not back to back. Robert Henshaw, Jenny, do you still love older vintage locos or just the new stuff? I still have a love for the stuff I had as a child, the old Hornby 00, but I don't actively go out and buy it anymore. So my collection is what it is in that respect. It doesn't get bigger. But yeah, I like transport. Do moderators get free merch? You can have a gold-plated Rolls Royce if you pay for it. Model Train Fan 101, how you guys get mod? They asked very nicely. I tend to add one person to the mod list every time. So there's I Like Transport got it today. Angus's Trains is a mod as well. I've not seen him in for a while. He might be swinging through soon because it's he's out in Australia somewhere near the South Maitland Railway, I think. Yeah, with the John Bowen line. I'm trying to think what time it would be in Australia. I know he gets up early for doing swimming or something. But Angus's Trains, if you're in the house already, hi to you. If not, if you're watching this on catch up, hi Angus. It's always great to see you. Been missing you a bit actually. I think maybe the time zones have there's been gone back an hour or forward an hour or something. But yeah, you just basically have to be in here nice and early. Also, James Pets, we had a talk at the MRC in London about the GMRC a few months ago. Interesting. What did they? So, when you say you had a talk, was it a formal talk or just like a chat amongst people? I'm just curious what was the vibe you were getting from people. Leslie Gilpin. At Lydney Moor last Saturday, a couple of old Trumps were slagging off GMRC. And I looked at them thinking they'd complain about winning the lottery. It's like I say all the time. Those that can, do. Those that can't, criticise. And those that aren't any good at criticising just go on YouTube and write gay and fake in all the comments. Right. I've missed some of people's questions. Canadian Rail Fan. Jenny, did you do that quick hill on your... did you film me doing that? Or are you asking how I did it? If you were there, you'd have seen me do it. But and I think actually it shows the gist of it in the actual episode. Canadian Rail Fan. Yes, the GMRC is on back-to-back this weekend. I'll have to look. I don't watch TV, I'll be honest with you. I'm just in the dark. Tony Britton. Can I be a mediator? They moderate the moderators. Only one new moderator per live stream. You have to get here early. Model Train Fan 101. Jenny, sorry, it is on Friday and Saturday. Ah, right, sorry. Sorry about that, Canadian Rail fan. Yeah, you were right. Also, can I be mod? No, stop asking me if you can be a mod. You have to get here early. You can't have everybody being a mod. New Mills Model Railway. On DCC, if I wanted to change my controller, do I need to reprogram my locos, or are the numbers stored on the chips? The numbers are all stored on the chips. You don't need to reprogram them. The current number will work with a new controller. So if you plug them into a new controller, they will all be the same number you programmed them as before. Same reason that if you took your locomotives and went to another layout that was on DCC, you would just access them with the same running number. Yeah, Leslie Gilpin, what you said there. Flymo Chairman 1, I hope Angus isn't booked through Thomas Cook. No, it's a native Aussie. New Mills Model Railway, thought as much, thanks Leslie. Yeah, don't worry. James Petts, it was a formal lecture as part of our lecture series. Simon Petts, the chap who gave it knows you. I think he said that you initially intended to be on the team but dropped out. Was that Alex Croft or Derryfo Nightingale, or was that Charlie? Yeah, that is absolutely true. It was my team. Team Sci-Fi was my team. I put that team together. James Petts, what was the vibe? He seemed to have had fun, but did not entirely agree with some of the other team's tactics. Yeah, Canadian Rail fan Jenny, I know exactly why the budget is on sound. Yeah, I know why, but I'm not allowed to tell anybody because I got told in no uncertain words to be very careful about what I let on about. And Canadian Rail fan, they got your number as well. You were working on the show, they've got your number. You'll get a phone call because not me, but my special guest let slip something, and I got a phone call the following day from somebody at Channel 5, very, very polite, very, very nice, but just saying be ever so careful. So just putting that out there, you know, we're being monitored. Canadian Rail fan, and sorry Jenny, I could attend the meetup because how many came? 2 people came. So, not the greatest turnout, but the weather was atrocious. New Mills Model Railway, thanks Jenny, don't mention it. Absolutely, you're welcome. Carol Taylor, correct, it is as Hornby did an interview with the last winners Friday and Saturday this week. They did Hornby did an interview with the last winners Friday and so did they do 2 back-to-back last weekend as well? Because I've only watched Fridays. If they did one on Saturday, I've not seen it. Interesting. Yeah. Flyman Channel 1. Those who can do, those who can't teach, those who can do neither criticise. Something like that, yeah. I did actually have a go at one of the judges because I got really annoyed with their unfounded criticism during the filming. And I didn't just complain to them and go off the hand. I basically said, you know, it's poor form to criticise somebody for something just because you think it'll make good TV. And actually, there's nothing wrong with what you're criticising. I know there's nothing wrong with what you're criticising. And all you're going to end up doing is making yourself look bad. Now, remains to be seen. I don't even know whether what will happen with that, whether it's been and gone. But I don't like people who criticise just for the sake of it. Those sort of people disgust me. And it's why I felt Steve Flint has come over very, very well, because when he criticises, he builds people up. He focuses on the good things, and he doesn't come across as unreasonable. And I think that's just the way you have to do it. James Petts, I can't remember the name for sure, but Alex Croft sounds familiar. Yeah, larger guy, also did Biggest Little Railway. Robert Hensher, Jenny, do you actively seek out steam locos or go more for diesels? And I love what you've done with the new layout. Well, thank you very much. But a bit of a magpie. Notionally, my modelling interests are thus. My main focus is BR Blue tops diesels from sort of 1970s into the 1980s. A real soft spot for that, and my rolling stock follows that as well. But I also like pre-grouping, and I also have an eye. Sometimes I just buy a loco because it's like, I like it. Model Train Fan 101. Jenny, also, what is your favourite GWR loco? And also, when are you coming to the Gwilly? It's a long way to go. I'll have to stay over somewhere, you see. I'll have to make a big trip of it. Favourite GWR loco? In model form, that's a difficult one, actually. I really like the Star that I've got, the Hornby Star. But also, I think my big favourite, the 72XX, the 282 Mikado tank. James Pets, I can't remember the name for sure. Oh, sorry, I've just read that one out, yeah. Flymo Chairman 1, no disrespect to anyone who lost out with that Thomas Cook collapse, by the way. Yeah, I totally agree with you. What gets me is that the directors were still getting very well paid. You talk like millions of pounds, even though there was some real Mickey Mouse accountancy blunders, which meant that it was only a matter of time before the debt caught up with them because they weren't writing it down. Carol Taylor, no, it was on today. Today? Interesting. I'm going to have to go and have a look. I did today. What day? It's Monday today. It said that episode's going out on Monday. How peculiar. Flymo Chairman 1. If anything was said, it went over my head. Not difficult. Oh, it does that to me all the time. It's like, oh, well, there goes the conversation. Carol Taylor, I must keep my own mouth shut concerning Ashford. Canadian Rail Fan, I know they have my number. Have been very careful. Oh, you've avoided the phone call. It wasn't, in fairness, it wasn't me. It was on my live stream, but it wasn't me who said it. And I was kicking them under the table. But, you know, it's live. What can you do? And it wasn't a big thing. It was things that people could have probably pieced together anyway. But what we were told is just don't talk about anything that's not actually been shown yet. Canadian Rail Fan, let me guess, Kathy, James Pett, yeah. Oh, then. Well, yeah, it's not difficult, isn't it? There's two of them. I don't know whether she was trying to play good, like there some kind of good cop, bad cop thing coming on, but I don't think it's worked out very well. It's like I said before. If I was her, I'd have got back in touch with Pat and said, could you like re-edit it a little bit? I don't think I'm coming across to my best. She is a very good modeller, but there's criticism, and there's what feels like criticism for the sake of it. It's like I said at the beginning of the live stream, when I've been watching it, the scores that she and Steve are actually giving are roughly about the same. So it's not that she's being mean with her scoring, but it's the way she comes across. Now, Steve Flint, he'll build them up to that score. He'll talk about the good things and say, you know, like, focusing on the good things. And he'll say, you know, they've just got in, they've built it up to a solid 3. Whereas Kathy Miller, it's like she's looking for excuses to bring them down to a 3. That's the best way I can say about it. Canadian Rail Fan, Kathy was a little harsh with your layout and other layouts. All I'm saying, yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's interesting actually that a lot of the feedback I've seen has said a lot about the same. And it's funny actually because I thought that Steve was going to be like the officer hard ass of the good cop bad cop routine, but I got on really well with Steve. Now, I've mentioned it before. Steve and I sort of have this like not close. It's not like a history history, but I've submitted articles to Railway Modeller over the years while Steve's been the editor, and he's knocked back every single one and said, no, I'm not interested. And each of those articles I've subsequently sold to other magazines. I write for a living. So Modelliana Schwags Magazinette, I write a lot for them. I'm practically a staff writer. But then I've also written for BRM and Model Rail. And I've sold the same article that Steve said wasn't good enough. I've sold it and actually ended up being commissioned to do a follow-up article because that article went down so well in like Model Rail or Model Jahrneschwags Magazine. And I thought that maybe he doesn't like me. But I got there and actually we got on ever so well. And I really have a lot of respect for Steve Flint because he wasn't how I expected him to be. He was such an amenable, approachable person, and he was great fun. But I didn't see a lot of Kathy. J. Paul Anderson. Jenny, I know that Kathy was trolled online recently for some of her work which may have affected her spirits. Was that before or after filming? There's no question about it. Her model making is very, very good. She is an amazing model maker. But she should know better than anybody else that sometimes don't criticise for the sake of it. Even if a TV company saying, "Oh, don't say this at work. We need you to say this. We need you to spice it up." Don't fall for it. Maybe if it's your first gig, I'm not aware of her doing any other TV other than GMRC. But I'll be honest with you. When you first do TV, it can be like that, and you kind of want to please, and you end up thinking afterwards, why did I say that? So I got coaxed into saying things on Biggest Little Railway, which I regretted. Luckily, I got on very, very well with the directors and the producers, and I was able to make requests. It makes it sound like I have final edit, but no, I kind of asked if certain things could disappear. That makes it sound really bad, but no. I didn't have a massive amount of influence. I couldn't say, I want this and I want that, but it was just there's one little thing, and it's I'd be happier if that didn't appear, sort of thing. But you've got to be ever so careful. Flymo Chairman 1, I'd love to get a peak. Co 1 co. I thought the peaks were 1 co 1. The idler is the outermost wheel, not the innermost. But actually, I've got class 44, a 45, and a 46. All of them Bachmann branch line models. But Canadian Rail, and Kathy was a little harsh on you. It's a lot of things that it was you know what, you're criticising it just for the sake of it. Just behave yourself. But then again, it wouldn't have made good TV if they go, "Oh yes, this is marvellous. Oh, let's go and look at this layer. Oh, that's marvellous as well." So you've got to take it in perspective. But I think that Steve's approach is working better. Oh, J. Paul Anderson, before filming. So actually, she should really have known better before criticising for the sake of criticising. She did say to me afterwards, she said, "Oh, we're doing it for TV." And I said, "Look, don't criticise just because you think it'll make good TV, because actually you've got your own reputation to think of as well." Carol Taylor, drink makes you spill the beans. I didn't spill the beans. It wasn't me. It was Melanie. Right, Barnabas Junction. Does Zoe help you with the model railways? Is she a fan of the hobby? She does the filming, editing, things like that. Don Antonio, bang on impression of Steve. Impression of Steve? No, I don't think I did. I didn't do an impression of Steve, but certainly Steve's approach builds you up to the score he gives you. Kathy's approach seems to be knock you down to the score she gives you. It's a bit like looking at a glass. Is it half full or half empty? Steve takes the half full approach. She's taking the half empty approach. It's the best way I can say. I like transport. I can answer this one. Did anyone know the Ruston 48DS has arrived? Yes, I did. But I think that it's only the Ruston Works liveried one. Not all the different liveries have turned up yet. Oh yeah, Game Hammer Classic Gaming. The only thing I've helped with on the Wayard was when I built the haunted house. Yeah, you did. You did. I've sat on something sticky. Excuse me a moment. I feel like, you know when you... What on earth is Tony Bread and Jenny, can I just say thank you for the Monday Club and giving this old git for once something to look forward on a Monday evening. Oh, well, thank you very much. Leslie Gilpin, here, Tony Britton. Oh, my word. Sorry, I do, sometimes you've got to remember, I got tremendously bullied at school, so it's always nice to be appreciated. Mark Wilson, why on GMRC is there two presenters? I don't know. I thought that Tim and James worked really well. They're both great blokes. Got on really well with both of them. But yeah, Game Hammer Classic Gaming, absolutely right. So they have one another to bounce jokes off. I think. Yeah, I think with a lot of things, it works better with somebody to bounce off. And I honestly think that the pair of them worked really well. So I think the two presenters works. I think that formula they've got absolutely right. Carol Taylor, you was close. Close? Yeah, D827 Kelly, yes, you were correct. Bulliard Diesels, Peaks and 40s have the 1 1 bogies. J. Paul Anderson, Jenny, if you could choose just one British steam engine, which would it be? You see, at the moment, my absolute favourite is the Brighton H1 in the London, Brighton and South Coast livery. Now, Bankman have done a model of that. I think I did a box opening. Yeah, in fact, I certainly did do a box opening review of that. And at the moment, that's absolutely my favourite loco. But there's a lot that come close. The Peckett W4s are really nice. And I also like the L&Y Pugs. Probably for the same reason of charm that I like the W4 Peckett's. Those two locos do have a lot in common, so to speak. But yeah, I think the Brighton H1 Atlantic at the moment. But it can change. Before that came on the market, steam locomotive. Probably the W4 Packet before that, and then before the W4 Packet, I don't know. Mark Wilson, doesn't one of the presenters do Caro SOS? Yes, that's Tim. Can he help with the Volvo? What's wrong with the Volvo? I've already done everything that needs doing on the Volvo. I sorted out the valve stem oil seal thing. Leslie Gilpin, the presenters are better this series, especially Tim. I think, right, what you've got to remember is that they've taken on board a lot of the feedback from last year. Now, what you see of Tim and James on screen is like, it's like their game face. That's their on-screen persona. Don't believe that that's what they're like as people, because they're not. They have this persona, and it works in the case of the on-screen persona. I think it works really well. But there was some they got feedback off last year, and they took a lot of that on board. I think one of them was like the corny jokes, like don't get rid of them, but just don't take the piss too much. But they're not all like silly innuendo bingo when you just talk to them. It's not like that. It's like Dick Strawbridge was different as a person when you were off camera just having a chat. I used to work for the aviation journalist, former BBC Radio Lancs DJ Chris Yates. There's nothing like his on-air persona. Used to sit in the BBC canteen with a variety of people like Alan Dedicoat, Terry Wogan. And then they're different from their on-screen persona. But I found the presenters for GMRC actually work really well. I think they've got the right balance this time. Otis JB, couldn't agree more with more. Love the Monday. Oh, well, thank you very much. Don't forget, share the love. Let everybody you know about the Jenny Monday Club. We need to build the audience. Let's get the message out there that Mondays can be fun. I know that when you read Garfield hates Mondays, but you don't have to hate Mondays, because we're here with the Jenny Monday Club to make things nice and fun. Canadian Rail fan. Steve for me was really nice. He gave some points on layout and he gave free mags for next year. I got on really well with Steve, and it turned out he lived just down the road from my father, in the top end of Bricknell Avenue, where it joins Hull Road in Cottingham. And socially, he moved in the same circles as my grandmother. So,
What was that noise?
what?
That banging.
It wasn't me.
It was like crack, crack, crack.
I don't think it was me. I don't. Did I bang anything? I don't remember banging anything. No, it wasn't me. I'm looking on the cameras. There's nothing out there. Might be next door.
Must be next time.
Yeah. But yeah, Warrington Transporter 2778. I think we've all been bullied in school at some point. The guy that bullied me is in prison now. So you got the last laugh. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. I'm trying to think the people who bullied me. I don't know, to be honest. Couldn't give it.
It's annoying.
It is, because I can see you on the screen. The people who bullied me, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what happened to them. They've never cropped up in like being famous or anything, so who cares? Don't really care. But yeah, it's not nice when you get bullied at school. But no, turned out all right. James Pets, well done for choosing an LBSCR engine as your favourite. I love that one too. Yeah, it's a wonderful model. Obviously the real ones would have looked really beautiful, but there's just something about that, and the livery as well in the Umber with the orange tender top. It just really looks great. J. Paul Anderson. Oh yeah. Oh, it just said the same. Yeah, it is a lovely, lovely model. And when I was contemplating my top 10 favourite locomotives, which you might be seeing a video on, you know, it's just such a beautiful loco. Otis JB, also can't imagine what you could have been bullied for at school. You're great. Slightly autistic, and kids home in on stuff like that. I wasn't the only one who got bullied. You know, it wasn't like I was the only person getting bullied at school. But you know, you work out that other people are getting bullied as well after the event. Yeah, just being different. That's all it takes, is being a bit different. Children are cruel. Girls were the worst. Ooh, bitches. Saucer of milk to table 1. Anywho, Barnabas Junction. Since the introduction of GMRC, I've seen that a few new independent model shops are beginning to open. What is your thoughts on this? Yeah, certainly, I know a few exhibition managers, and what they've all said, not just one or two, but all have said that they're seeing more people coming through the doors at exhibitions, and in turn as well, they said that it's like a slight change. They're getting a lot more younger people in family groups, so it's kind of opened the hobby up to the new generation, which is exactly what we want. And when I talk to some of the manufacturers as well, they say that there's definitely a feeling of resurgence. I think it's been incredibly good for the hobby. GMRC has really done a lot for the hobby, and that is good. Tony Britton, love those panniers simply because that was the first loco I learned to drive and fight. Yeah, the panniers do have their charm. Andy 1962, totally agree, Tony Britton. Have been recovering from illness last couple of months and really looking forward to Monday Night Club and catching it up on YouTube videos. Oh, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and the sharing is really important. Let everybody know. Tell everybody. Preach to the world about the Monday Club and the videos and stuff as well. Carol Taylor, so many model shops have closed down in the south due to high rates. GMRC may have something to do with it. Not in them closing down, I wouldn't have thought. But certainly GMRC is reinvigorating the hobby. But yeah, there's model shops closing up north as well. North. Holton Model Centre, I did do an interview down there. One of the best kept secrets of this area, because he doesn't really advertise himself and he doesn't have an online presence particularly. But he's closing down, but with that it's because he's retiring. James Pets, I approve of liking Mondays. Yeah, because Monday is the middle of my weekend. I have a 3-day weekend, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so I quite like Mondays. J. Paul Anderson, Jenny, did you see Chris Barry's Great British Machine some years ago? He drove Britain. Pretty amazing, yeah. Friend of mine, Will Jarman, worked on that. So yeah, I was aware of it. I've not watched it, but very much aware of it. Mark Wilson. Good night, my duck. Make sure you lock the cupboard. Yeah, I'll lock her in. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. Oh, of course, when she came in. Tony Britton, thanks Andy and Otis for agreeing. Oh, well, thank you, all of you. I feel really honoured that you've said such nice things. Oh, thank you very much. Carol Taylor, bullies like to be the centre of attention. Yeah. It's like they were saying, it's things like bullies who are homophobic, basically bully people for being gay or being perceived to be gay, invariably tend out to be repressed homosexuals. And it's like, they're hiding from what they're bullying about. Cause it's almost like this warped mentality that, hey, if I bully gay people, then maybe people won't realise that I am in fact closet gay. It's just, weird. It's very Freudian as well. J. Paul Anderson, there was one boy who bullied me when I was about 13 or so. I gave him a bloody nose. Didn't hear from him again. I know, my father-in-law said, if you target the leader who's bullying you and pummel them, then people tend to leave you alone. So it is a tactic that could work. Leslie Gilpin, I chatted to the lads who were known bullies, saved a lot of fighting. Warrington Train Spotter 2778. If you wanted to open a model shop, where do you get the stock from? From the manufacturers. You open wholesale accounts with them. But certainly, Brian at Bolton Model Centre, Bolton Model Centre at Holton Lane Ends. I think, if you really want to open a model shop, you could do no worse than make him an offer for his business. Canadian Rail fan, being bullied very much, had 2 broken legs, 3 toes and wrists because I am autistic, and my obsession of trains, military and engineering because I was the top of my class, expect English. Yeah, Barnabas Junction, just seeing your comment. Everyone give Jenny a big thumbs up. Give it a quick click. Tickle that like button and share it. Sharing it's really important. Don Croggan, before I retired, I hated Monday mornings and Friday evenings because the traffic going to and coming from work was much worse at those times. Yeah, I know what you mean, although strangely enough, because the hours that I work, Friday is actually a really good day for commuting because people seem to leave for work earlier. So at 9:30, between 9 and 9:30, the traffic is much lighter, so I get to work really easily. And by the time I come to go home, all the traffic's gone anyway. Leslie Gilpin, I found the girls were the homophobic ones. There's a lot of girls who are really bitchy, really were, really mean. And the thing about I found boys tended to be very physical. The way they would bully you would just be they'd punch you, they'd hit you, trip you up, that kind of thing. It was very basic physical bullying. But girls did psychological bullying. They knew how to say things that hurt. And that's actually, in some ways, the most scarring. I have memories of being thumped, but the memories of the bullying that stick with me the most are the psychological stuff. Carol Taylor, very true statement, Jenny. It's a cover for them. Yeah, very much that. Sigmund Freud, he may have been obsessed with his mother, but he was onto something with a few bits and pieces. Viaduct Central Model Railway, hi to you. Oh, you got 100 subs now. Boom! Sorry, people don't like it when I do that. But yeah, boom. 100 subs. Pretty good going. Keep on building that. Lemon Bakewell, really good. Recommend it. Otis JB. One of my aspirations is to open a model shop. It would barely be work for me. Just be warned though that it is a lot of hard work, and you'd have to be careful. You couldn't sit there making models all day because you'd go through a lot of your stock. But yeah. I think that model shop it's very expensive to start up a model shop because there's a huge capital investment in stock. But Tim at Arcadia seems to really love his job. So yeah, Splart man. My mate at school was gay and got it so bad from the girls. See, the girls didn't bully me for being gay. They bullied me for being autistic. But on the other hand, by the time you get to like sixth form, a lot of the girls are attracted to the gay men because it's like, the gay best friend thing, because it's like a guy that they can get on with who doesn't kind of constantly try and get in their knickers. Let's have a look. What do we? Carol Taylor. It's such a nice break to pop on here. Here's such nice comments. Oh, I know so much at all girls' school. I say no more. They grow out of it eventually. Leslie Gilpin. Boom is Steve Brown's catchphrase on Saturday afternoon livestream. I'll be honest, I've been going boom on lots of things. I got it from watching Frasier in the 90s. There's an episode where it's like, I'm a mental health dispensing machine. Boom, boom, boom. And then there's the exploding fist bump as well. Big Hero 6, which is a Disney animated film, where it's like boom, psh. Actually, Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff used to do that, like boom, psh. But in Big Hero 6, I forget the name. Was it Hero? No, Hero was the boy. What was the name of the big inflatable thing? But it used to go like boom, and the inflatable robot thing would go fa la 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 instead of going like psh, like fa la 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 la. I like transport. I agree with Jason from Barnabas. Smash the thumbs up, run up the share, and don't forget to hit the subscription button. Did someone mention the bell? Hit that too. Yes, ring that bell and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when YouTube decides to tell you. Tony Britton. Lemon curd with anything is simply scrumdiddlyumptious. Splartman. Some of the girls well cool to be honest, but I found them more unforgiving if they chose to bully. Yeah, girls very psychological. They know how to get in your head and push your buttons. Warrington Transport 2 times Siren 8. Boom! Barnabas Junction. Basil Brush. Boom, boom. Canadian Rail fan. The girls were worse to my future wife, who we have together since year 9, because she was weird and dating the autistic genius, what they call me, and because she was autistic. Yeah. Looking back, see, I didn't know I was autistic. I knew I was different. But it's actually doing Biggest Little Railway, and there was a number of people that I was working with who were autistic, had been diagnosed as autistic, so like bish bash bosh, stamp the card, know that's what's going on. And they kept asking me, I said, so you're autistic as well? And I said, well, how do you mean? And they went through it all, and I suddenly realised, I relate more to these people, and they kind of explained it to me in meticulous detail, which autistic people do, and suddenly I thought, this getting a diagnosis isn't about there's no like, oh well, here's a pill that'll sort that out. There isn't really medication for it, but what it does is the peace of mind. You suddenly go, I'm not a weirdo. I know what's going on now. It makes things make more sense, and that's really what it's all about. J. Paul Anderson. Jenny, have you ever travelled behind a steam engine along the coast at Dawlish? Wonderful location. There's a guy who made a superb layout of the Dawlish, featured in BRM once, I think. Yeah, I've seen the layout in the magazines. I've never travelled on the main line behind a steam locomotive, but excuse me, I have travelled on preserved lines, obviously, behind steam locomotives. J. Paul Anderson. Jenny, have you ever travelled... Oh, sorry, I just read that. Wolfie Wolf. I tried to get my parents to send me to an all-girls school, but alas, they didn't accept triers back then. Yeah, I don't know. You might have looked a bit odd in the uniform. Hairy legs and a skirt. You probably end up being well bullied by the girls. So I think you probably got off lightly. Viaduct Central Model Railway. Everyone needs a Model Railway YouTube community group mug. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Barnabas Junction, Baldrick's super poem. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I remember that episode. Blackadder Goes Forth. Carol Taylor. One can relate to another within that situation. Yeah. Tony Britton. Fired the Dawlish donkey a few times. Best scenery ever. Model Railway YouTube community group. Indeed. Viaduct Central Model Railway. Leslie Gilpin. Gay, autistic. What's next to add in my life membership card? I don't know. You reach a certain age and then disabled comes along as standard. Just old age. Canadian Rail fan. People say, how can sense people are autistic? You just can. And I will go into everything about autism. Yeah. So I think for me it was actually Alex Croft and Lawrence Robbins. I was chatting to them, and they kind of guessed I was autistic, even though I didn't know. I'd never had a diagnosis. And when we chatted, it suddenly came clear. It's like, that makes my life make more sense. And it was a revelation for me. You know, this is only a few years ago. Before that, I just thought I was a weirdo. But I say that in the nicest possible way. You know, I knew I wasn't like most other people. You know, I thought about things so intensively. You know, I wanted to know how things worked. I was very intense in what I wanted to do. A lot of difficulty in relating to other people, things like that. Yeah, I'm not like sort of deep autistic. I'm kind of, what do they call it? Higher functioning. Angus's Trains is in. We were mentioning before. We were saying we wondered where you were. A big hello to you. How are you doing, Angus? I was watching through some of your videos actually the other day. I did comment. You replied to me, so I know you know that I commented. But yeah, that was actually a really nice railway. I enjoyed that. I particularly liked the little hoppers that were on. I think they were parked in one of the sidings, which like the ones that are at the South Maitland Railway. Grand, good to hear that, Angus. Good to hear. Barnabas Junction. I find people with autism in the model railway hobby offer a super wrath of knowledge as well. Yeah, because the thing about, if somebody's autistic, they tend to, you know, if they get interested in something, they really get good at it. You know, they will be like a sponge for the information. So yeah, they are a good source of knowledge. Oh, thank you very much, Angus. Oh, I'm glad I left a nice comment. Yeah, if anybody hasn't had a look at Angus's channel, head on over and take a look. There's some great videos on there. Mark Wicks, hi Jenny from Queensland, Australia. Aha, hi to you. So, I'm trying to remember, Angus, whereabouts. You're near. Oh, it's not quite. Are you Victoria? Is it Victoria? But yeah, again, a lot of Aussies in. It's brilliant. Viaduct Central Model Railway, Angus Trains, I subbed. Boom! Carol Taylor, so very true, James. Yeah, weird people are the best sort of people. Yeah, we're interesting. New South Wales, grand. Yeah, it's Australia. I want to visit Australia. I love the Aussies. I love Australia. I've got relatives in Australia in a place called Warragul. I'd love to go there. It's just a case of getting round to it, getting the money together, getting the time. I'm also hoping that I can scam a TV company into paying for me to go out there. Still working on it. But yeah, anyway, I'm looking at the time. We're coming up on 3 hours. Actually, this has probably been one of the longest live streams yet. So I'm really sorry. 60 subs. Brilliant. Good work, Angus. Everybody sub to Angus's Trains. He does some great videos. Let's see if we can get Angus up to 100 subs. It's well worth it. Some great videos on there. And Angus is a great chap. A Canadian Rail fan. Well, Jenny, after about 3 years into TV since 20, I quitting and got on Canadian Rails. Looking forward to it. Grand. Otis JB. Night all. See you next week. Take care. It's been great having you along. Barnabas Junction, highly recommend speaking with Laura McWilliams about railways, real and model. She has amazing knowledge. Yeah, there are some great people out there who are a wealth of knowledge in various areas. Leslie Gilpin, going for a record 3 hours. Yeah, 6.5 more minutes, may as well. But no, look, it's been great to have you all along. And yeah, night to you, Tony, as well. It's been great to have you along. But what time actually is it? Gosh, we're nearly at 10 o'clock UK time. But it's been an interesting live stream actually. I've largely tried to steer away from GMRC. I'm aware that the series is still going on, but I've kind of rocked the juice box a little bit. I've done quite a lot of videos on GMRC, and the last live stream is struggling to get over 1,000 views, which is a little bit unusual for a live stream. So basically, I tried to talk about a lot of other things in this video. It seems to work. Carol Taylor, Zoe and yourself, Jen, must go to Japan, visit the Koto factory. Yeah, I'd love to go to Japan as well. Probably like take 6 months, excuse me, and go to all these different places. I'd love to do Hong Kong as well. Angus's trains, Jenny, those hoppers are the New South Wales Railways hoppers that look like SMR hoppers. Which manufacturer makes them? I presume it's an Australian manufacturer. But they are lovely, and they actually remind me of Northeastern Railway coal chaldrons, which latterly worked on the NCB systems. So I'm actually quite interested to find a source for those if I can get them at a reasonable price, because Eureka models. I'm going to have to look at those actually, because they do look a nice model. Carla Brooke, hi Jenny, sorry for joining virtually at the end, don't worry about it, we'll be more prompt next time, don't worry, but you can always watch the entire video on catch up on YouTube. At the end of the stream it goes into, it gets processed and becomes an ordinary video, so everybody can catch up on the bits you've missed, rewatch stuff, share it, tell everybody about the Jenny Monday Club. It's really, really good to get a bigger and bigger community going on. I love this community feel that we're getting here. Feeling like family. I love this, and bringing people together, answering questions, all sorts. Angus's trains, they're a pain to run, always derailing. I don't know whether a bit of weight might help you. Either put some like lead shot in the bottom, or actually you can get bags of the granite chippings ballast that you'd use for ballast on your track, and actually fill the wagons up with it, and they add some decent weight. The only thing you've got to watch out for is if the wagons then subsequently derail. If that isn't glued in, then you obviously get ballast everywhere. Barnabas Junction, been a fantastic chat, Jenny. Here's to the next. Well, thank you very, very much. Always great to have you all along. Leslie Gilpin, time to go upload another video. I've got to pass a load of footage on actually to Zoe. I've got Friday's video, which will be a trains running by video on Weir Yard, themed to pre-grouping loosely, because rolling stock's a bit of a pain for pre-grouping. So look out for that. We've also got my top 10 favourite locomotives coming up Wednesday's video. And then Saturday's video, I can't remember what it is, so I'll have to get back to you on that. But do look out for it, it'll be grand. Angus's trains, that was your uncle's layout. Yeah, I think you said in the comments, uncle has built a new one. It's actually a really grand little model that. I did enjoy the camera train you had going around it. Model Railway YouTube community group, has been great to chat with you, Jenny. Looking forward to seeing you at the MRYCG meet very soon. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. It'd be great to meet you all. Looking forward to that. Hopefully the Sunday of Worley. Leslie Gilpin, you sent to subscribe to it. That's great as well. I love this community feel where we get people subscribing to others' channels, and hopefully we're introducing people to other people on YouTube, and that is really what this is all about, the community feel. It is very important. At the end of the day, we've all got this like-minded interest, and it's great to share advice, share skills, and just share great videos of trains running. Angus's train, you tried doing that, but they still derail. The only other thing I can think is try the back-to-backs on the wheel and just measure them. You may find they're either probably slightly too wide, or maybe slightly too little, too narrow. And then what you find is they either ride up the rail and plop off, or when they get to something like point work, if that's where they're derailing, they're actually catching the check rails. Yeah, Carol Taylor, bonding. Leslie Gilpin, right, the tea monkey must have fallen asleep. I need tea. Yeah, I know what you mean. Carol Taylor, just fab again. Oh, well, thank you very much. Let's have a look. How are we doing on time? Minute and a half left. Gordon Adams, Angus, make sure you have track laid first. But as Jenny said, a bit of weight definitely helps. I think wheel back-to-backs, based on what you said there, Angus, Even just very, very simply, if you haven't got a wheel back-to-back gauge, which I suspect you don't, get yourself a ruler. And on the millimetre side, I don't know whether rulers in Australia, will they be entirely metric or will they have inches on the other side? I don't know. But, just measure from flange to flange, and you'll be able to look up online, and then what you can do is it will tell you what they should be. And when you measure them, they should all be the same for a start, but there'll be a certain distance that those flanges need to be apart. And if you're getting variance, then you need to either pull them carefully apart. They'll slide on the axle. You just got to be very careful how you do it, or push them closer together, depending on whether if they're too wide or too narrow. And that's the only other thing I can think of checking. But yeah, just see how that goes. J. Paul Anderson, just reading an article in Steam Railway on Barry Scrapyard. What an amazing story. Yeah, an amazing stroke of luck, which really set the UK preservation scene on the right track in having that huge cache of locomotives. Angus's Trains. Someone made a video saying unsubscribe to Angus's Trains. That's really mean. Have you reported it to YouTube for because that's against YouTube's rules, people doing that. So I'd report that to YouTube. But everybody, go and subscribe to Angus's Trains. It's a great channel. It's got some great videos, and it's a unique look at Australian railway modelling. And I'm a subscriber. I enjoy watching Angus's videos, and I think you all should too. So let's see if we can get Angus over 100 subs. But yeah, that I think you need to report that video to YouTube, Angus, because when you actually go to the video, how you report them is there'll be like 3 dots somewhere, and it's like report this video, and then it'll give you a box, and it'll be like reasons you're reporting it, like hate speech, breach of YouTube community rules, things like that. I haven't had to do it much. But certainly that's not on if somebody's made a nasty video like that. That's just not on. Last couple of quick... yeah, I like transport. That's grand if we can help Angus out on that, because that's not right, somebody doing that. Final question. David Snape. Hi, Jenny. How did you get into the railway hobby? My father. So basically, my father was interested in railway modelling, and as a very young child, I took the bait. Gordon Adams, subscribe to Angus. Great, good. Carol Taylor just had the same kickback for Angus. Brilliant. Look, I'm going to have to head off now. We're over the 3 hours. Oh, called Wolfie Clips. I mean, is that somebody you think you might know? Or, I don't know. Unfortunately, we were talking about this earlier on. Unfortunately, the internet and kind of the anonymity of aspects of the internet have made it something that you get a lot of trolls because they think that they can't be caught. It really is anonymity, and you see it in Facebook, you see it in YouTube, you see it in Twitter, and they think they can be nasty to people because nobody knows who they are, and it's just wrong. Angstray, he's in my year at school. Yeah, if everybody reports that channel, then they'll probably have his channel blocked by YouTube, and that's probably the best way to do it. But yeah, if everybody can help Angus out, that would be grand, because Angus is a great kid, and he does some great videos. And it's not on that somebody's put a video up just saying unsubscribe to his videos. That's just not on, so we need to do something about that. So hopefully be able to get that sorted next time. Wolfie Clips. Yeah, if everybody goes and finds that video and reports it and votes it down, but most importantly reports it. Angus's Trains. So the nicest comment from Ned's Trains. Yeah, you get. The thing is that for every troll, there's probably 50 or 60 great, decent people. So don't despair. There's still decent people on the internet. Hopefully I'm one of them. But no. don't despair. We'll get that sorted out, hopefully, if everybody will pile in and sort out. Barnabas Junction, very quickly, favourite Volvo. It's actually a 740. I don't own one, but my first car. Sorry, Wolfie Wolf. Yeah, I know it wasn't you. I think Angus knows it. Thank you. Well, anyway, I'm going to have to go. It's like getting to be like the end of Wayne's World. It's like, oh, let's do the Scooby-Doo ending. But no, look. Anyway, look. You all take really good care of yourself. It's been great having your company for just over 3 hours. I think this is the longest live stream yet. But don't forget, we've got more videos going up on the channel. You can also, if you want to, you can support the channel through Patreon. If you really, really want to. Also, don't forget to like, share, let other people know about what we're doing on this channel, and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell, and when YouTube feels like it, it'll let you know about stuff going on. Good for you, I Like Transport. Thanks for helping Angus out. That's really good, really good. Warrington Transporter 2778. I've really enjoyed the stream tonight. Thank you, Jenny, for all the work. Keep excellent work on where you are. Thank you very much. Don Cooken, have a good evening. See you next week. Tony Britton, night all. I'm really going to have to go, but look, it's been absolutely great, and I feel honoured that you've chosen to spend this time with me on your Monday night, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. Until next time, you take really good care of yourselves. Bye for now.